What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my life. And today, we have a very special show for you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take a break from all the stuff going on in the comic book world and the Star Wars world. I know there's a bunch of news that came out and rumors and speculation, and I'll be honest, it's giving me a headache. You know, it's all this other stuff. Let's take a break from that and let's try and have a more positive, happy stream. But you saw the title, and for those of you who don't know, and this is your first time hearing about the news, I'm sorry, I had to find out this way, but we are here to celebrate Akira Toriyama. For those of you who don't know who that is, he is the creator of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. He is the brainchild of Dragon Ball. So I decided we're going to have a stream talking about his impact on not only the anime culture, but pop culture in general. There's probably going to be some things that I'm going to learn about because, these gentlemen over here that I have on the panel know more about Akira Toriyama than I have and know about his other impacts in the pop culture. So I'm here to learn some new things. But pretty much we're here to just show our appreciation for his work. He's gone too soon. Did they say how he passed away?
They did.
Yeah, they did. It's something to do with the brain.
He had
brain bleeding.
Yeah, he had a brain tumor, and that's what caused his brain to bleed. Yeah, pretty bad way to go out, but
So sad, so sad.
Yeah.
He was like in his 60s, right?
Well, there was
68, I think.
There was a report that came out that said that manga artists or manga creators have a 20-year shorter life expectancy than regular citizens of Japan because of the way that they the working conditions are for them, and they're depending on how they handle making their mangas and the deadline issues and all that stuff.
I see. It's so sad. It's so tragic. Losing someone so young. I mean, a lot of people probably don't look at 68 as young, but that's too soon for someone to go.
I mean, he's around the same age as my dad, so I know how that is.
Yeah. Yep. There should be some more panelists that will join us later. Some scheduling conflicts here and there, but we should be expecting some more people as the stream goes on. But right now, I am joined by Taladia Plays.
Yep.
I am once again joined by Bradley.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And I'm here with the friendly neighborhood Meta.
Oh, my bad. I thought you said my name. Did you?
No,
Did you combine Bradley and friendly?
I did say friend. I think I did say friend.
Say friend.
So
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I set it up there. Let's get the music going on.
Off to a great start, folks.
Amazing.
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? Hope y'all been having a great Thursday.
Yeah.
Yes, Thursday.
Yeah. Before we begin, it is Thursday.
It's Thursday for you guys, and it's Friday for me because I'm in the future.
Yes, he lives in the UK. For those of you who don't know, but we have another guest. Here he is joining with us. We have from the Kingdom of Nerds, Brucifer. How's it going, sir?
I'm totally waiting for a link. I'm like, is he doing a stream? I'm like, oh, I can join.
Yeah. I already
you alive. What's going on, everyone?
Glad you can be here, man.
Hey, what's up, man?
But without further ado, here's how the proceedings are going to go. I'm going to give everyone their time to talk about how Akira Toriyama has impacted, them growing up, and that's when I guess they'll give us more of the insight of what else he's been involved in outside of Dragon Ball. So everyone will talk about their personal appreciation for it, and then we will slowly get into talking about the overall franchise of Dragon Ball. We'll talk about some of our favorite characters. We'll talk about our favorite season or favorite moments. So all that stuff will be in the second half, but the first half is going to be mainly about Akira Toriyama. So that is what's going to go down. So I'm going to start things off because I probably will have the least amount to say. But still, Akira Toriyama is very important to me growing up because of like the work that he's done. Because his work and himself helped me get into anime. Because Dragon Ball Z was the first ever anime thing I've ever seen. I remember when I was a kid, and the first time I saw it was on Toonami on Cartoon Network. And at the time, I didn't even know what anime was. I just saw Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like a really cool animated show. I can't wait to see it." And my life has been changed ever since watching that show. Dragon Ball Z, still to this day, is probably one of, if not my favorite anime of all time. I know it's overhyped for a lot of people that are like hardcore anime fans that know all the different types of anime we've gotten up to this point, and they probably look at Dragon Ball Z. It's like that's such some overrated garbage. And yes, I acknowledge. Do I think that? From a storytelling standpoint, from a character standpoint, do I think this is the best written anime of all time? No, I don't. But just even judging it on its own merits, I still think it has really good storytelling and really good character development. Even though, yes, it does have its over-the-top moments, and there's a lot of screaming, and there's a lot of over-the-top monologues, and a bunch of power-ups that doesn't make any sense. But the storytelling and the characters were so good. Some of that stuff I think was able to transcend the medium that it is in, and so, I watched everything from the original Dragon Ball that I think is underappreciated, of course Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super.
We don't count GT.
We'll talk about that later.
Dragon Ball Z Kai.
But Dragon Ball Z Kai, I watched that too, and I even watched Super Dragon Ball Heroes, that weird thing on the internet that
Oh, yeah.
all the other stuff.
Oh yeah.
Team
But,
4-Star.
Right. But yeah, man. So that's pretty much the extent of how Akira Toriyama has personally impacted my life, is because he's the one that his work has got me into anime, and I appreciate him ever since. But yeah, so we can move on to Taladia. Tell us, what is your history with Akira Toriyama and his work? How big of a Dragon Ball fan were you? All that stuff.
So, as for Akira Toriyama's work, it was like many moons ago, when I was very young, and when Dragon Ball Z came on to TV, and I used to watch it as a kid. I think it was Fox Kids, we had it, or something like that, where we had it on TV, and it was in the 90s. So I used to watch that, and it really inspired me. Like, his work was so like resembles of like everyday life and friendship and all of this stuff, and it was like Akira Toriyama knew how to bring the fans together, and this was one of the reasons like his work for Dragon Ball Z was like really inspirational. I remember like also like seeing his stuff online was like many years later was like some of the manga stuff, because I used to read comics. Well, I still read comics, but read manga, and I was just like, I was really interested. I started picking up Dragon Ball Super stuff because I'm really into that type of thing. But like Dragon Ball Z was my first introduction to Dragon Ball, and it was thanks to that I really loved Dragon Ball since then. And after Dragon Ball Z finished, obviously there was GT for me. That obviously I got into that, which, by the way, we're still classifying that as non-canon, or we can classify that as an Elseworld type of thing. But I do know that Dragon Ball Z Kai was also really cool as well, because that was like a retelling of the original for me, but it was closer to the comics apparently. So
cool. All right, Bruce, you're next. Tell us how Akira Toriyama has impacted your life, and are you a fan of his work? Oh man.
Way back in 1991, 92, God damn you guys.
He's old.
So
one of my friends in high school got me to join the anime club. God, I was such a nerd. And he gave me the Guyver to watch, the OVA. And I love that so much. I didn't know that my local video store was renting anime. They were bootleg recordings. So I saw Dragon Ball Z Dead Zone, the one with Garlic Jr.
oh yeah.
movie. And it was no subtitles, straight Japanese. And I must have watched that movie like 6 or 7 times in like 2 days. And then I found a shop in Chinatown in New York City that actually had VHSs of all the episodes, and I started watching from the first episode of Dragon Ball Z, and I've been a fan ever since. I also a big fan of his Blue Dragon series, and all of the Dragon Ball Z games. The first one I played was Ultimate Battle 22 for the original PlayStation, which is so hard to find now. Great game.
Yeah.
I love Dragon Ball because it has evolved with the times, animation wise, story wise. Yeah, it may take 3 years to get through a story arc, but it's so worth it.
Takes 3 episodes to power up.
What? How long was that Frieza saga and the Boo saga? I was like, is he dead yet? He dead?
Somebody hit somebody.
Oh my god! And when Dragon Ball Z GT came out, I was just like, why? I don't even think I finished them. It was so bad for me. But I will say my all-time favorite DBZ character will always be Future Trunks. Future Trunks kicked ass for that storyline when Frieza came to Earth, just chopped him up with his sword. Such a great character. I've so loved Super. It's I know there's the pink power up and the blue power up and God mode. There's so many different unnecessary modes.
Ultra Instinct. Master
Yes.
Ultra Instinct.
What? I was like, what the hell is Ultra Instinct? You kidding me? But I will say that I am waiting for it to come back. It's supposed to come back soon. And hopefully they don't mess up his memory by trying to do another Dragon Ball Z live action movie.
Well,
We don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
I do want to get into speculation about that later. But yeah, but
God help us all.
I've been a fan of Dragon Ball since 92, 93. So it's a goddamn long ass time.
Nice. Before we get to Bradley's thoughts, because I don't even know this myself. Do you guys know where you could watch the original dub version of Dragon Ball? Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Legally. You can
Don't
wait
watch the
there
dub.
legally.
Watch the original Japanese with
I'm
subtitles.
an English dubber, gosh darn it. I'm an English dubber. I don't care what anybody
Sir,
says.
read faster.
I think you can watch.
I'm such a slow reader, I can't do it.
I think you can watch
Especially-
dub for
Man
free.
goes to see a fucking subbed anime movie, tells the person in the booth to pause the film so he can read.
Especially because the characters talk so fast and they speak in all these monologues, and it's like I'm trying to process what's going on screen, but then I have to read what they're saying. It's like it's too much, man. I get excited.
You could
No.
start by memorizing the opening for Dragon Ball Z, Hetchala in Japanese, and that'll help you.
You can start by getting good.
Yeah.
No, can't do it. English dubber forever, baby.
I
I don't know how anybody listens to dubs. Ugh.
Now there are some dubs that are horrible. So not all dubs
All
are
of
good.
them?
There's-
it depends on the anime. Dub
Hey,
is sub. It depends on the anime.
Hey, where's
Naruto dub is horrible.
I don't blame you there. The dub there is not very good.
Yeah.
Hot take. The dub of Goku and Vegeta is better than the Japanese.
I agree.
Yeah,
What?
I agree.
I said it. I said it.
Oh.
No,
I cannot
I
stand
prefer-
Goku's voice. I cannot stand it.
Sorry, Lucifer. I agree with DL on this one.
I'm such a purist. I feel dirty by being here now.
Because you know it's true. You know
It is not true. I've never
know-
watched an episode of Dragon Ball in English ever. Nope. I
This-
won't do it.
Get this man out.
Get him out. But let us go to you, Bradley. Tell us what is Akira Toriyama's work meant to you? How big of a Dragon Ball fan you are? All the 9 yards. Tell us.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty huge Akira Toriyama fan. I mean, I didn't have like a really great childhood at all. So when I found out about Dragon Ball Z, I think I started reading it through the manga. And then I would get like the seasons of the show after I would like finish the manga, But I started with Dragon Ball first because I've always been like that sort of person. Like I want to start at the very beginning. Like I wanted to get into Z because my friends would all talk about it at school and all that. But a part of me got into Dragon Ball first, so I got into that. And yeah, I've been a fan ever since. Went to go see I didn't get to see most of the films in theaters, but I got to see the last one in theaters. And the last one's pretty good. I like Super. I like pretty much everything. I don't hate GT. We'll get into that later, I'm sure, but there's some issues I have with it, like everyone else does. But overall, like I'd say Akira Toriyama has had a huge influence on my life for sure. Like when I was young too, it got me into wanting to start, creating art and start drawing. I remember I would trace or freehand and look at pages of the manga and start like to copy them, And that's what kind of got me into wanting to write and create art. And not only that, but it kind of gave me of like an idea of what a father and son relationship should be, at least in the first season of Dragon Ball Z, because Goku kind of, kills
He's a
himself.
horrible father.
Goes downhill
yeah.
after that.
He's a bad father.
Akira Toriyama decided
Yeah.
that we need a good example for stepfathers all around the world, and then Piccolo came in. That man raised that son. That's his boy.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my god!
I was waiting for Goku to yell, "He took my job!" Damn illegal alien. From
Oh no! No!
He was from Namek. What do you want? Come on. He took his job as father. Well, he was. Oh, I can't say this. It's not my stream.
Okay, I'll just put this out here. We here on D-WIZZLE Live do not condone the making fun of stepfathers and real fathers being in their children's lives.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
You really want to know something? I can give you the statistics.
Oh god!
Father, stepfather.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it.
You might want to
The
do
local
another
convenience- I go to the local,
PSA.
gas station to see how many packs of cigarettes have been bought by.
Oh boy, here go another one. We here at D-WIZZLE Live do not condone the use of drugs and alcohol for children.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yes, and we all know. You might as well stay there.
Okay.
We all know that Piccolo was being a good father to Gohan, but he was also slipping the pickle to Chi-Chi.
We here at
She was
D-WIZZLE
showing
Live.
appreciation for Piccolo doing a good job of raising Gohan.
We here at D-WIZZLE Live do not condone affairs with already committed relationships and children.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
And did you know that all of Earth's helium is being depleted?
Dude, how many times we gotta do this PSA? We're gonna be here all day.
It'll be completely depleted within 15 to 20 years.
No, that's
Not even nothing controversial. That's just a fact.
Moving on. Let's go to you, madam. Tell us, what has Akira Toriyama meant to you with his work and how big of a Dragon Ball fan you are? Let's just move on. Get to the topic at hand. Let's go.
Where do you want me to start?
Anywhere you want.
Okay, first off, not a Dragon Ball fan. I grew. I never watched it. In fact, when I was giving my cousins hand-me-downs, I was given a VHS of Dragon Ball, and I gave it to someone at one of my friends at elementary because I was like, "Yeah, I'm not watching this. Like, you go ahead, have fun." I didn't watch anime like that when I was little. Um, hi Arrow. I look, it's one of those things, right? Like, it's the same thing as, like, I'm not a fan of the Beatles, but I give them the respect and recognition that they had for what they did for the industry. I do the same thing with Akira Toriyama. I am not a fan of his work per se, at least when it comes to Dragon Ball. But like Rooster was saying, like, I had a GameStop manager tell me basically that, like, that bootleg VHS is how you saw anime in the West. And Toonami comes along. Dragon Ball Z was the anime that hooked an entire generation, multiple generations even, on anime as an art form. And I mean, hell, if we're talking about his legacy, like, I respect him as a creator. I respect him and admire him as a creator. I compared him, as far as to the West goes, people would like to think Stan Lee. No, that's not true at all. I would say that Akira Toriyama is like Jack Kirby.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say that he's like Jack Kirby, King of Comics. His influence will be felt for generations throughout just pop culture, not just manga, but pop culture. And again, at the time before Dragon Ball came out, the most powerful shonen protag was, because when did Dragon Ball come out? Like the manga, 1984. 84. I'm trying to remember timelines here. Point is, you had shonen like Fist of the North Star, and Kenshiro was considered the most powerful shonen protagonist ever. And then here comes Akira with Goku, and he's just like, all right, hold my ramen. I'm going to show you what power truly looks like. So yeah, and again, like, there's been countless shows that have parodied and ripped Dragon Ball, and so yeah, it's that's that. I have more experience with him and that in the video game realm.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So as far as video games, is it just mainly the Dragon Ball games, or is it?
No, my friend, have you ever heard of a series called Dragon Quest?
Dragon Quest.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's
I
his
remember
artwork.
that.
Have you ever heard of a game called Chrono Trigger? That's his
No.
artwork. You've never heard of Chrono Trigger?
No, I have not.
Wait, aren't you like a big
wow.
Nintendo fanboy?
Wow.
Wait, what?
A Nintendo fanboy?
Yeah.
Am I a Nintendo fanboy? No.
Oh, okay. My
I'm
mistake.
not a Nintendo fanboy either, but Chrono Trigger is just like goated. Like, Chrono Trigger is considered one of the greatest JRPGs of all time.
I gotta look this up because, like, for some reason I have never.
And here's another one, DL. You've heard of Final Fantasy, right?
Of course.
Well, okay. So follow my. I believe I was having conversations with certain people. I believe Final Fantasy was partially inspired by Dragon Quest. I do not know if that is true. I've had conversations with people that told me that. But here's one thing I do know. Who's ever played Final Fantasy VII on PS1?
I did.
Okay. Who's ever seen, I believe it is, because I'm not good with, it's Gohan. Who's ever seen Gohan's purple outfit?
Yes.
I have.
The training.
Yeah.
Training.
That's Cloud. That's what Cloud is wearing. Cloud literally is inspired, from the original Final Fantasy game, his outfit and look is inspired by Gohan. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even when a Toriyama is not involved, his work is so inspiring to people that you have stuff like that. And, I have a list, but I don't know if this is the right time or not, if I can say this later, but I have a list of some of the games he worked on. And yeah, like, it's it's a lot.
Oh, by the way, the Final Fantasy series started in the late 80s, and Chrono Trigger started in 95.
When did Dragon Quest start?
Dragon Quest.
Because that's the connection I want to know is if did Dragon Quest inspire Final Fantasy to be made or to be created? Like one of those.
No
I
idea.
mean, well, and another thing is like
86.
and you said Final Fantasy was late 80s.
Hold on, let me check the date for Final Fantasy.
Learn something new every day, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
Eh.
Final Fantasy was inspired off Dragon Quest, and Dragon Quest was inspired off
Yep.
Ultima and Wizardry.
I do believe that the design for Mario was based off of a rally in Dr. Slump as well. That's the
Yeah,
other game.
Dragon Quest came out a year before Final
Okay.
Fantasy.
Well, there's a chance then that it was at least inspired in terms of like what Final Fantasy wanted to like, as far as like what the gameplay wanted to be and stuff like that. There's at least enough of an inspiration to say that. But I mean, even Blue Dragon has had a video game for Xbox, and now
Yeah.
Sandland, another Toriyama creation, is getting a game later this year. That's going to hit different now. Sandland's going to hit different now that Toriyama isn't here. Like that's going to be crazy.
Certainly so.
And what's also going to be hit different is like the manga stuff.
Now, I do know he does have a successor. He does have someone that can carry on his work, and I'm blanking on his name. I'm gonna look him up now. I know though that like when he was practicing drawing manga, he only practiced drawing Akira Toriyama's artwork because he loved it that much. To the point where he doesn't have his own art style. He's just a mimic of Toriyama's art style. So let me see if I can find his name. Successor. Toyotaru.
Toyotaru.
Toyotaru, yeah. Toyotarou. Toyotaru.
Toyotaru. Okay.
He's going to be taking up. He has been chosen to succeed Akira Toriyama with Dragon Ball. And if you look at the side-by-side comparison of his artwork with Toriyama's, like you would really have to like look at like just different. Like it looks so similar. Like it looks almost identical, one for one. Maybe a few differences here and there, but in terms of like, for example, looking at one, I think this is Vegeta, and like Toriyama drew a vein on Vegeta's head as he's going Super Saiyan, and Toyotaru did not draw that vein, but other than that, it looks like Vegeta. So yeah, like I think Dragon Ball's in good hands. I don't think it should continue for too much longer, unless Toriyama had a roadmap that Toyotaru can follow.
Do you think he's going to continue Dragon Ball Daima?
Probably. I don't know how far that series was in, but you need to finish the story of that at the very least. Because let's be thankful, by the way, that Toriyama had a successor, because there are manga authors that don't have one. Again, Berserk is the biggest example, and I'm scared shitless that Hunter x Hunter's author, knock on wood, something's going to happen to him, and then Hunter x Hunter's story is going to be left in limbo forever.
Oh no! And pray to God that Akira Oda doesn't,
Mother, bruh, need to give that man like extra life energy, because if One Piece ends like unfinished, I'm gonna feel so bad for everyone that's ever watched that.
I know.
or been invested. Nah, fuck that, bro. You tell me I watched over 200 episodes of anime, read countless volumes of manga just to not know how it ends. I would be so heated. I would be so personally heated.
Over 200 is being very, very generous. You mean over 1,000 episodes?
I'm being very generous, yes.
Over 1,000
Yeah,
episodes.
one of my friends has seen every episode. Just insane.
My
I can't.
gosh.
I can't watch it.
That's why I'm waiting for well, for one thing. Oh, we got another guest. We got another guest returning back. We have Big B. How is it going, sir?
It's going all right. It's going all right. How about you?
Good. Glad you could be here.
Yep. Just got back home.
Cool. Well, we were in the middle of it talking kind of Dragon Ball and Toriyama, but we'll let you have your time. Talk about how has Akira Toriyama affected your life as far as his work and his impact on the culture, all that.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be honest, I actually just put up a video on my channel. Honestly, I don't think I would be doing the stuff that I am doing right now if it wasn't for his stuff. Because like even though Transformers is my main thing, what really started to get me to like be more passionate about stuff like that, and like as well as Dragon Ball. Well, of course, is Dragon Ball. And like at this point now, I've got like a bunch of figures from Dragon Ball now. I've got a bunch of different illustrations and movies and manga that Toriyama's worked on. I ended up branching off into other things that he's made. Like it's like he's had a monstrous impact on me as well as like just everyone. So
For sure. What I was about to say before Big B came in about I can't wait for one thing. I want them to do a season 2 of the live action One Piece, but I also can't wait for Netflix to remake the anime of One Piece and trim out all the fat like Dragon Ball Z Kai did, so it will be more palatable for people to watch.
I've seen so many people pissed that Toonami's showing Dragon Ball Kai over the original Z.
yeah, I don't get that because like honestly, yeah, no, Kai is the superior version of the dub. Like the Faulkner score is great and everything, but
I think they're going for the canon version than the canon.
I mean, they could have just said fuck everyone and played GT instead.
True. They could have put on Dragon Ball Evolution. They could have done that.
Exactly.
Oh Lord!
Now I want to say this though, in a bit of defense of that film, because I've seen like the actors were passionate about Dragon Ball, and it basically chalks that film up to a victim of the writer's strike that happened around that time. But like the guy that played Piccolo was a fan. The main actor was a fan. They wanted to do justice to Toriyama's work, and it just did not come to fruition, as we all well know. But yeah, it just saying like it just shows the importance of paying your writers, and also I would dare say even creator involvement in projects like this.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
felt like there was nobody, like no original creators for that movie. They were just like, we're just gonna make it up as we go. We're just gonna put out some shit and you're gonna eat it. Like, nah, bruh.
It was so bad it brought Toriyama out of retirement.
You know what's funny, Kosa, is
that's one good thing about it.
That's the same shit happened with Godzilla '98.
Yep.
People had to come out of retirement and was like, this little bitch is not Godzilla.
Yep.
Let me make Final War so I can roast his ass in 60 seconds.
Yep.
Wait, what was Godzilla '98? Is that a
Piece of
thing?
shit.
Godzilla.
Zilla,
98.
let's kill Zilla.
Yeah, kill Zilla.
Exactly.
Like, I love the line, the dub line. It's like wait, so Godzilla invaded America? That's what the U.S. officials say, but some of our experts are suspicious or something like that. Like they doubt it. I'm like, oh, just immediately just dismissed it. Like, I love it.
Yep.
I know this is a Toriyama Dragon Ball podcast, but am I the only one that's excited for Godzilla X Kong, man? Because like I am freaking pumped, man.
No.
Listen, bro, I told you, just ring me up and we will talk about it. I'm going night one.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm gonna go see it, but
Although the Twitter
I would be
killed.
more excited if I hadn't already seen -1.
Fair.
I still haven't seen -1. I hate myself.
It's good.
It's really good. It's really
Yeah,
good.
I'm about to say you already know Dion what I've been doing, so like don't
Yeah,
you already know I've been slammed, bro. So,
fair. Like I'm trying to get through the Monarch show too.
I didn't see it.
Before
This
I
what makes
watch
me
it.
so mad. I
Oh
didn't see it
god.
in color or black and white. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna get the
I mean-
physical. I'm just gonna get the physical and say the hell with it.
Yep. You should definitely get that. I mean, like black and white was pretty good, but like in color, it pops. It pops.
Yeah, it does.
It's different. Got it.
But yeah, I'm halfway through Monarch on Apple TV Plus. It's pretty good so far. It's pretty
No.
solid.
No.
Oh, you didn't like it? You don't like it?
No. Yeah.
Okay, let me finish the show. But like so far, I'm not hating it. It's kind of slow in the first couple episodes, but like it started to pick up a little bit for me halfway through. But anyway, back to Toriyama and Dragon Ball. I guess we can start transitioning into our overall discussion of the Dragon Ball franchise. As I said, I've seen all the different versions. I didn't have a chance to talk about the movies. I've seen most of the movies. I think there's like a couple of them that I haven't seen. My favorites are Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Hero. Yeah, honestly, I think those are my top two. I really enjoyed those, and I was surprised because where's the hot take thing?
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball Super. So I'm surprised that I enjoyed Brawly and Superhero as much as I did.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people weren't too plussed about Super until like Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Goku Black actually. But
Goku
Goku
Black is awesome.
Goku Black was cool. I did
Goku
see
Riz.
the Battle. Oh my gosh, Battle of the Gods. I enjoyed that. I saw that in theaters. Resurrection F though, I'm like, I don't know about that. And I love Frieza. Frieza's my favorite Dragon Ball villain of all time. But like that movie, I was like, this seems a bit forced. But as I said, like Brawly.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Dragon Ball Super Brawly, like really enjoyed that. Also coming off the original Dragon Ball Z Brawly movie, which I didn't like at all, and I didn't like that version of Brawly. And
What, you're telling me you didn't like that his trauma was that he had to hear Goku cry as a baby, as another baby?
Jesus Christ,
Well, that's peak writing. What do you mean?
Man, no, that's peak dog shit. That's what it is. But like, I didn't understand.
I ain't gonna lie,
with
I did like
Brawly.
the design though. I thought that design.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
the design
man.
was
cool.
sick.
That man is that man's a walking piece of he's a side of a mountain. He's not the mountain, but he's a walking side of a mountain. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the overall design of Brawly is cool, and his power set, like I do like that. But yeah,
the
I'm
man just
glad
needs therapy.
he seriously did. So I'm glad that they gave him more dimension than that. And then Dragon Ball Superhero, I loved because, man, they made Gohan badass again, man. Because like I loved that he got a new form, Final Gohan. Man, that stuff was awesome. Giving more attention to Gohan and Piccolo. Because I felt like it's been like the Goku Vegeta show for like the longest time. So I was like, I'm glad they actually had a movie dedicated to them and just rejuvenating Gohan again. Because for a while, Gohan was my personal favorite character in Dragon Ball until they nerfed him after the Buu saga, and I'm like, oh god.
You already know the Team 4-star clip I'm thinking of, right, DL?
Is it the you?
Because there's the people that are like, man, they made it back about Goku again. It was Gohan was the main character. I see your point, but there's one thing you're forgetting. Oh yeah, what's that? Gohan doesn't like fighting, you moron.
Yeah.
Over here
Yeah.
walking around in a tracksuit. I'm like, what? Who is this?
My man's getting an education. He's getting a girl. He's going outside and touching grass
Yeah.
instead of
I mean,
fighting
to be
and staying in
fair-
a fucking time chamber. Like, my
Yeah.
man is evolving. His stepdad is proud.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, Gohan's happy. That's
Gohan is happy. Goku
I
is
guess-
never happy because he can never fight. Like, he always has to beat the fight. The next fight after the next fight.
Yeah, he spent his whole childhood fighting world-ending threats.
Yeah, and finding out what genitals are, and then
Hmm.
like that's the best. That's the best part of Dragon Ball. I saw that
Man.
clip. I was like, "What in the insanity is this?" Like
Oh my gosh.
that man just went tap tap like it was nothing. I'm dying. I'm like,
I gotta say, like, like I love Dragon Ball so much because like there's like, even though yes it has like these end of the world stakes and there's very serious fights and all this stuff and over the top monologues, there's still some room for like levity and like comedy. And let me tell you stuff, half the comedy that's in Dragon Ball would not fly today. Like
Yeah.
you cannot get away with stuff like this.
You let me have your Dragon Ball, and I'll let you have a little peek.
What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?
It's not dirty, you rude little boy!
Yeah, I mean,
That's a bit spicy.
I mean that's
I
something
love
that a lot of
I
people.
love the edit of like
What's the
two
age
guys
difference?
going,
Yeah, I mean that's the so that's the other thing too. I think Goku's like 14 at least in the manga, and I think Bulma's like
He's 14
16
there.
Yeah.
This is one of those cases where like the kid does not look the age, and like
yeah,
bruh.
yeah, and I mean at
It
the
looks
end
like
of the day,
he's like 7 or 8.
yeah, and I mean like a lot of people forget too that like Dragon Ball started as a comedy manga, like a comic book essentially. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like
because he was coming right off of what was it, Dr. Slump?
Yeah,
Dr. Slump.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, with I guess like with Dragon Ball, like as I said, I feel like that's the underappreciated season of Dragon Ball because everyone's all like Dragon Ball Z, which
Yeah, I was literally told when I do start watching Dragon Ball, because I do want to watch it all. I was like, oh, just skip Dragon Ball, go straight to Z. I'm like, that feels like a
Like,
disservice.
No,
That
you
feels
won't.
like-
You won't.
That feels like it, comparing it to like my favorite, which is JoJo. That's like saying, oh, you don't need to watch part 1 and 2, just go to 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna be super lost.
Yeah, you're gonna be so confused when the androids show up and they're like, "Yeah, remember when you blah 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 blah."
You
Like,
don't even
who's
have
the
to go.
Red Ribbon Army?
You don't even have to go that far. You're going to be lost in the Saiyan saga when Raditz comes down from another planet, being like, "Hey, you're my brother. We're going to take over this planet, and
Actually-
you're going to help me."
Actually,
Like,
earlier
who are
than
you?
that, you'll be lost because Piccolo will show up and Goku will be like, "Oh, yeah, I haven't trusted you. Last time we fought, this and this happened. You tried to kill me." It's like, what? When?
And now imagine how the American audience must have felt as soon as Z started airing, and we didn't have that context.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's nuts. And then all of a sudden, oh wait, they're turning into gorillas now. Wait, what's happening? What is happening? But
Monkey.
oh my gosh.
I gotta head out. I gotta do my recording right now.
Okay,
um,
I'm
go on
glad
my
you
other
come
channel.
on.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you everyone for being cool. And hami hami ha.
Oh no.
Oh no.
For those of you who are viewers of MME, you know that inside joke. My gosh, but yeah, don't forget to subscribe to Kingdom of Nerds. He has some great stuff there. He talks about comics and movie news and stuff like that. He does giveaways as well for comics, so he has some great stuff. But anyway, yeah, I guess yes, we as a consensus, or as somebody can speak up to it, but I guess we all can agree that Dragon Ball Z is the best season of Dragon Ball.
Like,
How many
yeah,
games of fucking? How many other all the video games just retell the story of Dragon Ball Z for the most part.
Yeah,
Like, I was going to be a little bit of a smartass, but like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, Budokai Tenkaichi, like all of them just retell the three or four sagas from Z, and I'm like, that's cool, but at the same time, I'm like, y'all just re-releasing it the same game just with HD update. And I don't know, like
yeah. I mean, hardly any of the games go into the story of Dragon Ball outside of like a bonus, little thing alongside like the story for Z.
yeah.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot actually does go through the story from Dragon Ball Z.
It does, yeah, and
Oh.
especially with the DLC, yes.
with the DLC, it does go extensively. I mean, I played the story. I really enjoyed the story, and it definitely, let's just say it was closer to the comic. Um, but the way I see it is, a lot of people are saying, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot isn't a great game. No, it is. It's a brilliant game. It's one of those games that lives up to the name Dragon Ball, right? And it was all done by Akira Toriyama, right? You got to remember that Akira Toriyama basically developed, wanted to tell these stories in the video game world of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and especially for the DLC stuff. Like we had the Battle of Gods, Resurrection F. Both of those were originally they weren't done through the movies. It was a different take on the story, so to say, right? But it was it's like an original thing. And then you also had the Trunks arc, and then now you've got the Bardock story. Then you got the Dragon Ball. Then you had the Dragon Ball stuff, which was the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi tournament, and then you had the end of Z. So that's been the last DLC so far. And I'm just thinking, are they ever going to do anything else besides Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z? And I was hoping for some super content. So maybe we'll get some more super content in the future, but I don't think so though, because Sparking Zero is coming out literally pretty soon. So
yeah, I mean, only direction I think that they could take if they do another little DLC thing, just because canonically Super would take place between End of Z and Boo Saga, or between Boo Saga and End of Z rather. Only thing I could really think that they would do is let's do a quick little Dragon Ball GT thing just for fun. But I don't know.
I mean, if they were going to do some super content, I think the best option for them would be Universe 6 or Universe 6 and 7 tournament. That would be pretty cool to do, because they have got the technology for them to do the ring out stuff.
Yeah.
So it would work in that context.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, if it was GT though, it'd be really interesting for them to do the Shadow Dragons. To tackle that. That would be interesting as a DLC story.
I think it would either be that, or they would do if they were doing Super, just because it would definitely sell if they did a Broly DLC. But that's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
But yeah, and the first Dragon Ball Z game I ever played was Budokai on the the PS2. Yeah, that game was a lot of fun. It was hard as hell though. Man, when I first played it, I was getting my ass kicked by Raditz. I was like, whoa.
Wait, what game is this?
Dragon Ball Z Budokai. That's the first game I ever played.
Ah.
Yeah, I was like, that game was harder than I thought.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, I want to ask this question because, as again, someone who's never really touched a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Is it the greatest Dragon Ball fighting game ever made?
I think it is.
So far, until Sparking Zero comes out.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to say, I wouldn't say that just yet because we don't know how good or bad that game will be.
Yeah.
But I understand why you're saying that.
But graphically, it looks amazing.
Graphically, yes, but gameplay for me is the more important thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's, for me personally, just because I'm also a traditional fighting game player, I think it's right up there alongside Fighters.
Oh, you're into fighters as well. Nice.
Absolutely.
Fighters is a classic 2D game though. That I feel like that works for Dragon Ball.
Yeah, though that being said, the first game I ever played, also a guilty pleasure game, which if you're looking at playing any of the Dragon Ball games, I'd at least recommend you experience this once, this atrocity. Dragon Ball Z Sagas.
Oh my god, I knew you were going to say that too.
I actually have that on my list.
That was my first
hold
Dragon
on,
Ball
actually,
game.
hold on. I have a bit of a hold on.
I will say I like the co-op thing that you could play on that, and there's kind of like an open world-ish thing with that ish.
So,
but
mind you, I'm not touching every Dragon Ball game because there's so many. And again, I do believe most of them retell the same story. So, what I am going to play though is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 and Budokai 3 because I have the HD collection for PlayStation 3.
But did you skip
Dra-
Budokai 2 because that was not good?
Yeah, that's why I think that's why the collection skipped it too.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z Sagas, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Fighters, and then Kakarot.
Yep.
I think I'm touching all the big like milestones and one not so much milestone when it comes to the Dragon Ball games. Like, I feel like I'm touching what I need to get my hands on to cover Dragon Ball games, basically. Oh, and of course, the new one. Of course, the new one that's coming out as well.
Yep, that sounds about right. Those are probably like the core games to hit. But yeah, there was I played Budokai 1. Obviously, I played Budokai 2 for a little bit. Then I put it down because it was bad. Budokai 3, Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I played a little bit of Sagas, as I said, and then I put it down because it's like, oh man, like you can't even like when you're running around and trying to hit someone, it's like it doesn't like you can't even aim when you're blasting stuff. It's like, what is?
No, it's a bad game. It is a bad game, but it's a guilty pleasure game.
I see. I feel like there's some sort of potential with that game because, as I said, the open world-ish thing of it and the co-op stuff could be cool, but it's just like it feels half-baked. Honestly,
I can't wait to see all of this that y'all are talking about. I can't wait to get to step on the gas and go through these games. It's gonna be something special.
I mean, for me, it's like I play fighters because I love fighting games. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot was like the very first RPG game that literally makes me feel like I'm playing Goku, and it's similar to Legacy of Goku from the GB days. And you know what's funny? This actually proves to developers outside of the anime fan that you can make a great Superman game. I'm gonna put it out there. A lot of people say, "Oh no, you can't do it." Look at Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
That and unironically Spider-Man 2's gliding sections.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, they're making excuses.
They're making excuses, yeah. And
you know what they're not making? Money.
Yeah, they're not making money. Exactly. I mean, we talk about this every time, don't we, DL, on stream with Max, literally. And it's like I said, but Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Dragon Ball Fighters for me were two great games. I played Xenoverse 2 as well. I go back to that game. I know there's going to be a big update for that because you'll be able to play next gen.
Didn't they just bring it to PS5? Like next gen consoles.
For Fighters they did, and Kakarot they did, but they're gonna do Xenoverse 2 as well. So I reckon we'll be getting a lot more DLC from those games if they're coming up to next gen.
Also, sorry to interrupt. I know I've only been around for a little bit, but I gotta get going.
Okay.
You guys are all cool. Glad to meet all y'all, and glad to talk for a little bit about Toriyama and everything. But
for sure, glad you could be on, man.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right, man.
Peace.
Okay, so getting back to the actual shows, I at least gonna put Bradley and Taladia on the spot because I don't know if Meta really has an opinion about this. But if you do, you can tell me. Your favorite Dragon Ball character. We'll start with you, Taladia.
Oh, it's obvious. Gohan. Come on. Gohan. Of course.
Yes.
Like you can't go wrong with Mystical Ultimate Gohan or Beast Gohan. Come on. Like the special beam cannon, the famous Kamehameha, and get it right, Lucifer, because I'm telling you this, that's how you say it, right?
Yes.
And also the fact that Gohan's story is very good. From the beginning, like he's a scared young boy becoming into the man that he is.
He's whiny. He was so whiny.
Yeah, he was whiny at the beginning, and then when he was a teenager, he was a really, really cool character to, that really got me, the Cell Saga was just like, yes. And then obviously the Buu Saga was like, Mr. Gohan was like the famous theme tune for that in Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god, it just chef's kiss for that. Like that's what really got me. I was like, I played it every time, and then when it became when they did Superhero, the movie Dragon Ball Superhero, it was like when the transformation for Beast Gohan, I was just like, yes, I would like to see Ultra Instinct Goku versus Beast Gohan, and my dream came true, and they're doing it in the manga, and I'm just like, yes.
Yes. What? Oh, finally, we got
Finally.
another guest coming in. Come in.
Finally.
We have Resonant Justice. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry for
What
being
Jay?
things going on.
Where have
Can't hear
you
you.
been, mister?
Yeah, where have you been playing too much Final
How
Fantasy?
dare
I'm guessing?
you?
No, I finished the game this
No.
morning. No, I
Yeah,
was
he finished it this morning.
Yeah.
So, RJ, was it everything you wanted and more?
I can talk about it for like 3
Did it-
hours, and I don't want to.
Did it bring about world peace? Did it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see. Hey, how we doing? I missed part of the conversation, so I know where we're at with it. But
Favorite Dragon Ball characters?
Yeah.
favorite characters.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, can't go wrong with Vegeta. I mean, Vegeta's always a favorite.
I was gonna say that actually. Like he created like the archetype he created a whole like character type for characters in anime, and Bakugo tried so desperately to be like Vegeta. Oh, and we lost the L.
It's like the,
Well, tell them you're leading the show now.
yes, I'll lead the show. So, RJ, let us know like what is your favorite character and why is he your favorite character?
I got a few favorites. I've always particularly liked Vegeta. I always thought Vegeta was always a cool character. I've really warmed up to Gohan and Piccolo over recent years as well. I really loved them in the superhero movie. I thought they did stuff with them very well. There's a lot of great characters in Dragon Ball. I think that's why it's such a landmark series. Just like you can't go wrong with any of the characters, really. Except for Yamcha. Yamcha is there to
Put some
get.
respect on my boy's name.
Nah,
Don't be
Yamcha-
hating on Yamcha.
I got
Yeah.
kicked. I got kicked out of my own stream. What is going on?
Yeah, Trunks is a great character too.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so RJ, since you are here, RJ, tell us about what Akira Toriyama and his work meant to you, how much of a Dragon Ball fan you are, all the 9 yards. Tell us.
Yeah, so the news of his passing definitely hit me pretty hard. I would say, it sucked. It's just I never knew him personally, but it's just when you think about people in pop culture who have just like impacted our society and just our culture as a whole, right? His name's on. I mean, you think about the influence he's had on so many things. So many people would not have picked up a pen and become creators if not for his work, And I'm not sure if you guys got into it yet at all when it comes to his work, but I mean, like, if you look at the stuff he did with video games like Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest,
DL's never heard of Chrono Trigger.
Really? Wow. That's
DL?
Yeah.
You know what?
We're losing him.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's playing Chrono Trigger right now because he's been frozen in time.
There's the loop, the time loop. He's time to play Chrono Trigger.
He's in the Chrono Ball. That's what he is.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at like his impact was just so profound,
Yeah.
And again, so many of my favorite things wouldn't exist without his work. Like, because I'll be honest, like I'm a Dragon Ball fan, but I definitely would categorize myself as more of a casual fan. Like I've seen episodes, I played the video games, but like I'm not like the hardcore. I mean, I've seen a couple of the movies in theaters. I'm not like the most hardcore DBZ fan. If you ask me about power scaling and all that, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it's just it sucks, especially I think he had a lot more to offer. I think he had a lot more that he could have done with the time he could have had left. He clearly was still working. I mean, he still had a lot more stuff he was doing.
All right.
Well, again, he has a successor though, so that's the good thing.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is that there's already some projects that he's worked on that are already in the pipeline. Dragon Ball Daima, Budokai Tenkaichi 4, I think it is.
Yeah.
And then also to the manga still going on. I mean, he won't be supervising it anymore, but the super manga will still go on. And then obviously he likely did work on Dragon Quest 12. That'll probably be the last of his character designs and monster designs.
The last one or the one that hasn't come out yet?
The one that hasn't come out yet, Dragon Quest 12. The one that was announced
yeah.
About a year or two ago. So
there's also the remake of, I think it's 3.
Yeah, they're doing
Quest
an
3?
HD 2. Yeah, they're doing an HD 2D remake of Dragon Quest 3. Yeah.
And then of course there's Sandland coming out later this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sandland is coming out later this year. Forgot about that. Yeah, it's another one. But yeah, it's sad. But I think about, again, there are so many of my favorite things that would not be created without his influence. I mean, you can think of any anime or manga in the past 20, 30 years probably wouldn't exist without Dragon Ball. Euro wouldn't exist, One Piece wouldn't exist, Naruto wouldn't exist.
A friend of mine summed it up best. He is the father of modern shonen. Would you all agree with that statement?
No, I would agree with that. Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, again, Dragon Ball was read by so many people, it inspired people to pick up a pen and draw themselves. So again, so many things just would not exist without it. So,
and even a lot of I look at them as stereotypes for arcs in manga, but in anime, but the tournament arcs, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, tournament arcs are just the structure of arcs themselves.
For sure.
Yeah, the structure of arcs was
the Majin Buu, how there'd be sagas in Dragon Ball, and that kind of be structured for an arc. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot to owe to him for that, like I said, a lot of favorite characters. I will say one of the most underrated. There's 2 underrated Dragon Ball characters that I think don't get enough respect. And that is Videl and what's her name? Oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. Is it Launch? Yeah, Launch. Whatever happened to Launch? Remember Launch?
No.
It was Launch.
It was Launch.
You remember Launch in the original Dragon Ball?
Describe the character design. I think I might.
She's the blonde-haired girl.
I think so.
She's
yeah.
blonde, and then she has the multiple personalities.
Oh yeah, that she sneezes and she turns.
Yeah.
Into, yeah, that was a great character. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to her? She only was ever in. She never came back.
I can't remember what they did with her in Dragon Ball. I think she might have gotten free of Master Roshi's grip and led a life of her own, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of cool characters that just never got a lot of screen. I mean, there's the androids, Android 18, and then you had I always liked Videl. I thought Videl was cool. I always thought Videl was really cool.
18 created an entire Dami mommy fetish. Bruh. Every fucking man, every child was I want to meet a woman like her one day, and I'm really?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of good characters in Dragon Ball, honestly, and Piccolo. I mean, that was just one of the crazy things about Dragon Ball when you think about it from a story perspective. They spent this whole time building up Piccolo as the ultimate villain of the original series, and then years later, when they do more stories, Piccolo becomes a good guy and trains Goku's son. That's some Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed type stuff, that's that enemy to friend story,
A lot of the villains have become a hero or an anti-hero at some point in the story, for the most part.
I have to apologize to everybody. My Wi-Fi is spazzing out so bad right now.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
If this keeps going, I might have to end the stream early. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on.
Oh no!
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I think it is that. Yeah, he's lagging like crazy.
Has this ever happened before?
Apparently, there's some storms happening right now.
Yeah, he's had lagging issues before. Yeah, this is why I get you to get a Wi-Fi adapter.
Or a mesh network.
Get one of these if it lets me.
This stream is not sponsored by NordVPN.
Yeah, there he goes. He's in the chronosphere.
There he goes. There
So-
he goes again.
Hero.
So,
Well,
so let's talk about Dragon Ball and your favorite Dragon Ball game. Let's talk about that.
oh, I can tell you right away. So remember when Arc
It's
System
Sagas.
Works, when Arc System Works announced they were making a 2D Dragon Ball fighting game, I was so hyped for fighters. I literally bought the collector's edition of that game, and I bought a fight stick for that game. I was so excited for it. That game was awesome. It still is awesome. I'll be honest though, I never really played the other fighting games. Not because I didn't want to, or there's like a lack of interest on my part. It's just that I never got into them. Like what were the 3D ones? Like what was it? Xenogear? Is that what they're called?
Xenoverse.
Xenoverse. I got that mixed up with a different franchise. There's a lot of Xenos in gaming. Xenogear, Xenoblade, Xenoverse.
Xenosaga.
Xenosaga, yeah, there's a lot of Xenos. It's weird. But yeah, that one was one that I always really wanted to check out. Never did, but like the new game, I'm very much looking forward to that one. Cannot wait for the what's the official title again? It's not Budokai.
Sparking Zero.
Sparkling Zero, yeah.
Sparking Zero, yeah.
Sparking Zero.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
RJ, you need to go back and play Tenkaichi 3.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot on my plate as it is. I don't know.
Yeah, whose fault is that?
Not mine. Blame you
Used
for
Final Fantasy
games.
only for like the last month and a half.
Yeah, by the way, side note, not to get too off track, but when I got to the final chapter of the game, I was at 96 hours total playtime. When I got done with the final boss, and again, the final chapter is just the boss fight. That's it. There's nothing else in that chapter. I hit 100 hours. Let that sink in.
RJ, I had 100.
That's a lot of.
By the time I finished Persona 5,
the final boss of that game, I kid you not, was about a 2 hour long fight.
now that's insane. But I'm just like again, P5R just doing the main missions and a few of the side activities, not all of them, but a few, 120 hours. It went like that, like an angel's kiss. It was gone.
That sounds like around the same time it took me to beat Cell in Budokai 1. What? Jesus, he was hard.
There was that one Dragon Ball game that came out that was like about it was like retelling the story of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
I think it was called Kakarot.
Yeah, we were talking about that too
Yeah,
earlier.
we talked about that too.
I never played that one, but I heard it was good.
So someone pointed out online, the Japanese trailer for that game is such a tribute to Toriyama and like why, like how influential he is and was in Japan. If y'all haven't seen the Japanese commercial for Kakarot, basically, it's like this older Japanese guy. He's coming home from work. He sees two kids, and they're pretending to be Dragon Ball characters. And you see him get home. He has the game, and then it flashes back to him watching Dragon Ball on an old CRT TV, and like it's just a loving tribute to Dragon Ball and Toriyama as a creative. It's really good. It's probably one of the best.
When you think about media franchises in Japan that have had like a profound impact on Japanese culture, there's really just maybe four. I'd say there's four. So it's Dragon Quest. So the two gaming ones are Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. two anime and manga franchises that have had like a profound cultural impact on Japan, it's Dragon Ball and One Piece. I mean, for God's sakes, One Piece, which is, Oda talked about this. One Piece wouldn't even exist without Dragon Ball, but like One Piece is so big, like they have theme parks in Japan. It's on McDonald's everywhere. I mean, it's about as popular as like Mickey Mouse over there. Same with Goku. Like, and there's, I don't know if you guys mentioned this, but like the impact that Dragon Ball has on the Latino and Latin American communities is crazy.
I have been finding that out over the last week. It's hilarious.
Well, so remember when Dragon Ball Super was coming out and they did the final fight between Goku and Jiren?
Yes.
Mexico treated it like an actual boxing match, and they had like live viewing parties in the streets. That's how hyped up they were for that fight.
Oh, we got another
thousands of people congregating on the streets of Mexico.
We got another guest, Uche. with your himmy ha ha.
Yeah, and this is gonna be, it's very, very fitting for this furry stream.
Very much so.
Himmy ha ha.
My gosh. Well, Blue Jay, we're letting everybody speak their piece. Tell us what is your history with Akira Toriyama and his work? How big of a Dragon Ball fan you are? All that stuff.
I said this to you. I'm familiar with Dragon Ball. I don't get that into it. Well, I only know about it because of my brothers. My brother's a big Dragon Ball fan. So he watches most of the stuff, and really I kind of just know just the bare basic premise of Dragon Ball, but I'm more fascinated with the history, because I feel like Akira Toriyama, he made Dr. Slump, and then Dragon Ball was like a second show. His second show kind of kicked off pretty much how kind of reshaped how anime is today. And I do think that he did leave off like a really big legacy that kind of influences other animes to do the same. There's a lot of animes out there that kind of share a lot of same influences from Dragon Ball, and I feel like some people do look at him as kind of the for lack of a better term, like the Japanese Stan Lee in a way, if you can kind of see that, because of how much of an impact that he left off. So yeah, and then when I heard he passed away, it was kind of I was like, oh wow, it was from a brain tumor. I heard. I was like, oh my, I was like, oh
yeah,
my
it was
God.
a sudden thing too. Yeah.
It was
that's
literally
the crazy part too, is just he had so much that he was still working on. Like he never stopped working.
Right.
Well,
you kind of had to you kind of have to respect the guy for it. You always respect the guy for him. But the thing is that I'm not like I'm looking at the wrong person to talk about. I'm not that big into anime, but I watch some anime stuff like here and there, but I can't get that into them. But Dragon Ball is the one that I do see a lot of. So I mean, I even got my brother a Dragon Ball hoodie for his birthday last year. It was a dope hoodie from Hot Topic. Hot Topic. So
Nice.
yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to really say, because I'm more fascinated with the history of Dragon Ball back in when it was first created, about Akira Toriyama, more so than kind of like the show itself. It's an intriguing history to me, because I'm a sucker for what, like how is this created? Because I think I remember this show was supposed to be Dragon Ball was originally titled Dragon Boy, then he retitled it to Dragon Ball, which is pretty intriguing to know. But yeah, that's pretty.
I wonder how that would be if they still stood with that title and then he turns into an adult. You could still call it a Dragon Boy Z,
Dragon
Dragon Boy GT.
Well, I mean, if Gohan is around, then technically, yeah, it really would still work. I think.
Dragon
See,
Boy.
and that's what I
After
wanted to
Gohan,
ask you when it comes
and then you have Gohan's little brother. So like, you could have made it work.
See, that's why I wanted to ask you guys about the story of Dragon Ball, because like I know it's kind of been like a thing where it's like I know there's criticism at the time. It's like, oh, the story was meant to switch to Gohan. Like Gohan was meant to be the protagonist, and then Goku was meant to just spoiler alert, sorry Blue Jay. But Goku was meant to stay dead. Like he was meant to like not come back, but then they kind of changed that and they didn't. Like Gohan never officially became the main protagonist,
It's all right. I mean, I
He
feel like
didn't resonate with the fans like Goku did. Like Goku, like for the Japanese fans, it makes sense because Goku, Dragon Ball was all Goku, and then you're watching Z, expecting him to still be the protagonist. But yeah, I made the joke earlier, RJ, like because I knew someone that was like, oh yeah, Gohan should have been the main character, but they pushed out and made it back to Goku, and yeah, like Gohan doesn't like fighting though. Like like we talked about this earlier. Like he enjoys his life as it is now over him just being a clone of his father.
But that's why I think he could have been an amazing character to have Goku pass the baton to, because he doesn't want to be a fighter. It's almost like, at least when he was a teen Gohan, that he almost had like kind of a Superman kind of complex in a way, because he valued life and like he didn't want to resort to force unless it was absolutely necessary, juxtaposed to Goku that wants to fight anybody, So it's like, to me, it made Gohan more of a relatable character, and it's just like, I don't understand why people were just so like against him being the new face of Dragon Ball, and especially because after that point they push Goku so hard that some people are getting tired of him now. He's become the John Cena of
it's
the
always
franchise.
Goku. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be a comparable reference like a few years ago, but now everyone loves John Cena because he's been gone.
Well, and that's why I love Dragon Ball Super Hero, because that is not a Goku movie. It's a Gohan and Piccolo movie. They're the protagonists. They get the center stage in that story. And I think it works really well for that reason. Because you get to have Gohan and Piccolo have the spotlight, and they do a really good job. Like it feels natural. Like it feels natural that it would be a centric story for those two, So that's the other curious thing too. I wanted to kind of ask you guys about this too, because I'm not sure how much longer, DL, you wanted to keep the conversation going. But I was just thinking about this, like.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about. We're just going to talk about like favorite characters, favorite moments, and then I want to get into speculation about what they'll do for the franchise going forward. But
okay, so yeah, okay, I'll save my question then for later then, because I actually had a question about that.
Okay. So before my Wi-Fi was spazzing out, I was going around and having everybody say who's their favorite character in Dragon Ball in general. We already had Taladia. He said Gohan. My personal favorite character is between Gohan and Vegeta. I love Vegeta so much. From him being like a starting out as the main antagonists, villains, and just seeing his arc going from a villain to being like one of the main heroes of the franchise. Him being like a hard ass to him actually like softening up a little bit. So I like his progression. I feel like is one of the more interesting arcs that I've seen from Dragon Ball in general. And Short Kings, got a rep for my Short Kings as well. But,
oh my god!
but yeah, on top of that, I just love that he's like a character that felt like he's always had a chip on his shoulder, feeling like that he's wants to prove himself to be the best, but Goku like is naturally. But yeah, it feels like Goku is like one upping him like all the time. So it's just like I just like that growth that Vegeta has. But it's between Gohan for the stuff that we talked about earlier and Vegeta. Those like it's like neck and neck for me. I have to really think on it with who's my number one. But Blue Jay, do you have a favorite character since you don't really care for the show that much?
I really don't. That's just I'm just being honest, but I mean,
Fine.
you know,
RJ,
not to be disrespectful. I'm just I don't really. I just
Blue,
yeah.
you're with me. Like I didn't watch Dragon Ball either. I've never like fully.
Okay,
seen
I'm not the only one because I feel
no,
like
you are not the only one.
I feel like I point to a corner.
Notice how we're both in the corner. We're both in the corner over here.
Oh, I see. I see how you did there.
yeah, we're in the corner. That's
Okay.
me in the corner.
Just to let y'all know, I didn't force them to come on here. They want to come on, so just saying.
I'm here for the video game conversation. That's all I'm here for.
Right. But anyway, RJ, your favorite character in Dragon
Ball? Yeah, I mentioned this a little bit, but definitely I have to agree with Gohan and Vegeta. Those are like probably my favorites. And then most underrated characters, in my opinion, are Launch and Videl. I think Videl's awesome. I think Videl's a great character, and I wish they'd use Videl and Launch more. I feel like they don't get used enough.
I agree. I like those characters quite a bit. Definitely, they could have been used more. What about you, Bradley? Who's your favorite Dragon Ball character?
I mean, I hate to pick the basic choice, but I mean, if I'm being honest, it's Goku for me. I mean, he's probably my favorite. But a second one I really love is Mr. Satan. I think he's probably my second favorite character of all time in Dragon Ball. I love Mr. Satan so much. He's great.
Yeah, like at first I thought I didn't really care for him that much. He was a little too. It's just a little too goofy for me, but like I don't know, the more I started to see him, like the more I like really started to warm up to him. Like he's like one of the like big main comic reliefs of the show, and like he actually works pretty well, like seeing him in the grand scheme of the story and juxtaposing everyone who has all these superpowered abilities and he's just a regular person. So
I love when he tries to take credit for everything.
Okay. I know, it's like, come on now. But yeah, all this stuff was funny. And then he tried to fight Cell and just like, nope, that is not happening, sir. That is not happening. All right, here's a more interesting question. Your favorite Dragon Ball villain?
Ooh.
Is this even a debate?
I'll go with the obvious choice because I know it's the obvious choice, but he just is. It's Frieza. Frieza's the best.
Okay.
It's really hard to top Frieza. I mean, when you think about just the story of Frieza, how he connects to Goku, how he connects to Vegeta, just his presence. I mean, and just like, he's such a nasty, nasty little alien dude. He's just so
Frieza
nasty.
a good guy now?
He's so vindictive too, you know. I know it's the easy choice, but I'd go with Frieza.
Frieza's like an anti-hero then?
He kind of is now.
He kind of is now, but I'd still say he's a villain. I'm sorry. Like
okay,
even if he helped out Goku,
is it one of those where Frieza's playing along because their goals align?
Yeah, it's more like that. Yeah, it's more like that.
Okay, that's fair then. Yeah, that's just a villain that's agreeing to put their trauma with monkeys aside to
Yeah.
like, bigger evil.
I remember watching Broly in the theater, and then they show Frieza pulling up to the home plate. So like, hello monkeys. I'm just like, what? Jesus,
damn.
Oh, that was
that
was great.
Like they weren't afraid.
That clip circulated.
Like, Frieza was straight up a racist. He did not like Saiyans. He is very hateful of Saiyans. He just hates them.
I was gonna say that did sound pretty racist. I was like,
oh yeah, I was very online out of context.
I was trying to. I was like, should I make a joke like this? Like, oh, never mind. RJ just put it out there.
I want to know what the actual translation was. Was it actually that?
Probably. I mean, because he calls them monkeys because of the tails. Because the Saiyans have the tails. So.
And they could turn into giant gorillas. So.
Banana.
But man, if the Saiyans were black, this video would get canceled. Just saying.
Rip.
But yeah, man, I have to agree. I know it's the common choice, but like Frieza's not only my favorite Dragon Ball villain, but he's one of my favorite villains of all time. Like, and it's just like he's one of those villains where it's just like you just love to watch how evil he is. Like he doesn't need like a tragic backstory, or you don't gotta feel for him, or like he's
a dick.
He's just a dick, and he's so
evil
charismatic
for the sake of being evil, which we
Exactly.
don't have enough of those villains.
And he's so fun and charismatic doing it. You know, he just, even though like he's doing horrible things.
I'm just
like,
here. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, like spoilers, he blows up an entire planet with civilizations, but I love how he's doing it, bruh. It's just like, it's so great. Like, I love his design. I love his power set. He has like 4 or 5 different forms, and it's like, it's freaking awesome, man. And it's like, I don't know if I'm the only one who thought this. I can't be the only one who thought this. Like, first watching the show with his voice, you couldn't fully tell. Yeah, you couldn't fully tell at first if he was a woman or a man.
I did the thing before it was a joke in the Lorax, but like one of my friends was like, "Wait, but Frieza's a guy," and I went, "That's a guy."
Like really emphasizing like the alien nature of Frieza, because like he of course he doesn't follow like the common biology of a human.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think it's also
gender
because
neutral there, bud. Like, man.
I think it's also because of Frieza's voice in the performance. Like, he's got a very high-pitched, almost feminine voice, but he still commands authority. You know, it's an interesting portrayal and performance, you know?
Yeah, it's just he's just so great. Like, he's definitely the most memorable one. Now, do I think he's overused since Super? Maybe a little bit, but I still love to see him. I do. Now, a close second for me is for favorite villains, and this is probably going to be a hot take for a lot of people. I really like Baby from GT. I really, really like him.
No, I
do like that. Baby. I'm sorry. I do.
The Devil Artemis video on him was hilarious.
Do we even consider GT part? I guess
it's not canon. It's not canon, and it's
GT's like the black sheep of Dragon Ball. You know,
it's an Elseworld.
I know it's the black sheep. It's non-canon. It's an Elseworlds, and even I'm not. I know the show has a lot of problems. Lot.
But DL, do you know what I classify this? It's canon to Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z Kai is canon to Super. That's the way I see it.
Fair enough. But I'll admit, when I watched GT when I was younger, I had a good time watching it. Like, there's actually some things in GT that I think are really, really cool. Like I said, I think Baby is okay. Like, there is some clunky stuff with the writing here and there, but like I really enjoy him as a villain. I did just say that I enjoy Frieza being evil for the sake of being evil, but I also like with Baby that he had a connection with the Saiyans, that he actually has a reason of hating them, you know? And it's like you kind of understand where he's coming from, even though he's going about his methods in the worst way possible. And I thought his power set is pretty cool as well, and him just taking over Vegeta and stealing his powers pretty much. Like, I really like that stuff. Like, he's like a parasite.
Isn't that the show where he turns into a kid?
Yes, and I did like that. I did not like
you know what? I remember, like, what was it, like 2000?
It was like back, folks.
No, it was like I saw the commercial. I think it was like aired on, like, it did reruns like Nicktoons. I remember.
So back in the day, Nickelodeon got the rights to air Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball GT on Nicktoons.
Yeah,
so,
that's insane.
Because which I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Because I just want to mention very quickly, Dragon Ball Z Kai is probably the best way to watch the original Dragon Ball anime nowadays. But don't watch the censored Nicktoons version. Nickelodeon censored it when they aired it on their platform. But you can watch the actual real version of Kai that has all the blood and stuff. It is available. So I think it's on Hulu, actually.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
agree.
Yeah. You go ahead.
The only thing is that it didn't really help the Boo saga that much.
Yeah, the Boo saga is still the weakest saga of the original DBZ, but it's not that bad.
But Boo is a villain, though. Like, Boo is a villain, bruh. I have
He's
talked to
okay.
multiple.
I think that
I have seen so much discourse. Like Boo, when he was like, I don't know the different versions, but like the one that was mean mugging everybody, like the one that like he was about to
Super
do,
Boo,
like,
Super Boo,
bruh.
Super Boo.
I've had some talks with some of my friends that actually grew up watching Dragon Ball. They were like, that man was.
Well, I think the issue is, and this is the issue with the original Dragon Ball Z, is that the Android saga was so big. Like, there was so much. Like, the Android saga felt like the true end to DBZ because of just the stakes and the story and what happened during the Android saga and how big it was. And then it's like, okay, Android saga ends, but hold on, there's one more villain. And it's like Majin Buu never really lived up to that level that the Android saga went to because Android saga was just so big. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I actually like, just from the clips and stuff that I've seen, I think I've seen more of the Cell saga than any saga, and I love Cell as a villain. I love Cell.
I do really like Cell.
Also, just like the online presence he has now in today's online culture is so great.
Seriously, like
I love Devil Artemis. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. That shit, Cellverse series is fucking hilarious.
When it comes to Dragon Ball Super, so you guys know the story of why Dragon Ball Super exists.
Yeah.
GT, right?
Yeah. No.
Well, no, not GT. No. What happened was that Akira Toriyama, 20th Century Fox made a live-action movie.
Oh yeah.
It was not good. It was very bad.
Evolution.
In fact, it was so bad, there were concerns that it was going to kill the franchise. That's how bad it was.
You know what?
We talked about that earlier.
What ended up happening was Akira Toriyama was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and make a Japanese anime movie. And so they made Battle of the Gods with Beerus, and that was meant to be like, hey, here's a new Dragon Ball Z story set after the Majin Buu saga. Let's continue the story.
Oh, we talked about this earlier. He came out of retirement for that.
Yeah, he came out of retirement to bring Dragon Ball back because of how bad the movie was.
Yeah.
Oh, can I say something? I did watch Dragon Ball Evolution.
Be careful. I would
Bro.
choose your words very carefully.
Blue, are you about to give a hot take?
No, it was. Hold on.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was about to say it was wipe my ass quality.
Yeah, it's not good.
As I mentioned earlier, it was a victim of the writer strike that was happening at that time. The actors themselves loved the source material. They wanted to do it justice, but unfortunately,
the studio didn't care. The studio did not care.
I was trying to put like a funny clip. I was like, oh wait, this is on DL's brand. I want to fuck everything up. So it was. I think I think that was like the only thing I watched like Dragon Ball in its entirety, and it's kind of sad for me to say that. So I was just I watched it. I was like, wait, you made Goku a high schooler? What the fuck? I'm like, well, what? And I'm like, you can tell how cheap this movie looks too. I'm like, why do you even attempt? Bro, Speed Racer's better than this.
Speed Racer's a freaking cinema masterpiece compared to this. What do you mean?
At least Speed Racer's awesome. Like,
but yeah, the point I was making though is just that they did those movies. They battled the gods, and that was huge at the box office. And they made, what was it, Resurrection F, I think it's called, with Frieza, where he came back. And then they're like, let's do another anime. And then the anime adapted the two movies, and they continued the story. So I guess what I want to ask though is that when it comes to Super, who is not Frieza, because Frieza doesn't count. I'm talking about brand new villains in Super. Who is the best new villain that they did in Super?
I would say Jiren, of course.
Really? Jiren? No, Jiren sucks. I don't like Jiren.
I don't like Jiren, but
I think as a character, he's just so generic.
Out of all the villains, though, I think he put up the best
Very
fight.
one-dimensional, but like I get he's very overpowered.
He's basically, you know what he is? You know what he is? You know what Jiren is? He's DBZ Bane.
Ah!
Yeah, I did want to mention too, because
That was unnecessary.
my favorite villain is probably Cell, but I do have a hot take about Frieza, and I really, after the Frieza saga, that's all I needed from Frieza. Every time I see him in Super or Resurrection F, or any time I see Frieza, I lose all interest in his character and I want him off the screen. I really do not like that character, and I think he's very overused, and anything they do with him is just completely unnecessary.
Actually, that's not that much of a hot take, because I do kind of agree with you that he is overused after the Frieza saga for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Hey, what was I going to say? I like Goku Black. Goku Black's cool. I don't know, because that's one of the reasons why I wasn't loving Super that much, because like it really felt like villain of the week in that season. Like there isn't really like a really big standout villain in that season, really. Like they had cool powers and stuff, but as far as like character wise, like I don't think they hold.
I would say for me, Beerus was probably the coolest new character and villain they introduced.
He's not even a villain. He's not even a villain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the original Battle of the Gods movie, he was a villain, but then after that, he wasn't a villain anymore. He's just a cool character now.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen anything Dragon Ball in so long, and I see Beerus on screen. Like, why is there a talking Egyptian cat? What the fuck is going on here? What happened to Dragon Ball? I felt so weird. It's like a whiplash. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this cat doing?
I mean, I did say before that they really improved Broly, so I think he's an effective villain from there. If we want to do like technicalities, but
I kind of, even though again I'm not a fan of it, but like, and I'm gonna do this in a way that's actually very applauding and appreciative. Dragon Ball Z does have probably some of the coolest like female characters in anime. Like I feel like, and not entirety anime, but like, you know what I mean. Like there is Bulma and Chi-Chi, yeah, but there's like again, this is where my lack of Dragon Ball knowledge comes in. Who is Gohan's wife?
That's Videl.
Oh yeah, Videl. Videl's a good character. Yeah, Videl, and then Kale and I can never remember the second one's name because it's so like I don't want to mispronounce it, but you know who I'm talking about.
Android 18.
There's Android 18, and there's Kale, and what the fuck is that other one's name? They're like sisters or like I don't know Dragon Ball like that. Hold on, I'm gonna get this up.
Oh, you're talking about from the tournament arc in Super.
Yeah. Kale and Khalif. Is that Khalifa? What is that?
I think it's Khalifa.
Yeah, Kale and Khalifa.
Yeah. I like them. They're good.
Like two women Saiyans that just like come out like, you know what I'm saying, like because you know we get like Dragon Ball probably gets a lot of shit for what it did in the original Dragon Ball, but Bulma's arc to ended up with Vegeta, great. Android 18 again, I think she is a fan favorite, and her arc is great during the Cell Saga.
Man, I even like Pan from GT. Man, I don't care.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like Dragon Ball has a lot of great female characters as well, that I feel like go underappreciated sometimes because you know. I
think they're underappreciated because I think the biggest issue is that they were kind of underutilized a bit. You know,
they were. I'll agree. Again, it's just someone who like I would watch an episode or two when Toonami was on because I just wanted to chill, and before I fell asleep, I watched Toonami. But like Bulma and Chi-Chi are two of the OG waifus for a lot of people. It's just like, you know, it's just that. And then, of course, Android 18 is the same way. Like, those are the three. That's the trifecta right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for show.
So, yeah, like, without those types of characters, I don't. Especially in industries where, we're like nowadays, we really want more representation. We want more stronger written female and people of color characters and LGBT characters and all that. Like for Dragon Ball to Z through even GT and Super to do that is in a way ahead of its time because they're actually well written female characters.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay, I actually thought of a very interesting question. What is your favorite, since Dragon Ball is all about their forms and modes and all that, what is your favorite form from a character?
For me, it has to be Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Really good one. What about you, Bradley?
Oh, like favorite form in terms of like Super Saiyan?
Yeah.
And it don't have to be a Super Saiyan. If like
Or
there's
any power move.
Yeah, any power.
I have to say Super Saiyan Blue. I just like the aesthetic of the turquoise hair and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. But you, RJ?
I'm gonna be very basic. Just go with the classic Super Saiyan because the first time Goku went Super Saiyan, it's so iconic. I mean that's just like you were feeling pumped. You're like, he's gonna whoop this dude,
He about to beat his ass. Like,
man, when he first turns into a Super Saiyan on Namek and is like it's all apocalypse and stuff, it's such an awesome image just seeing him transform into that.
And it started the whole like trend of kids for future generations just screaming their head off when they were going to go into the power level.
I think it's fascinating too because Akira Toriyama came up with the Super Saiyan when he just decided he didn't want to ink the Goku's hair anymore because it was just so costly and it just took so much time.
He's like, yeah.
Oh,
it's always funny when artists are like, yeah, I did this so I could save time. Like,
the same thing was done.
It's always something cool.
Well, kind of the same thing was done for the Hulk. Like Stan Lee and Kirby originally had him gray, but because of printer issues, like they made him green.
Yeah, because the gray wasn't working.
The gray wasn't really working like that.
You gotta love those happy accidents, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get
let me tell you my favorite form.
Effective accidents.
Yeah. You got a favorite form, Blue?
This guy.
Kamehameha.
Hit me high. Yeah.
Well, actually, from those moments I've watched through my brother's TV at my dad's house and stuff, I actually did kind of dig the little turquoise hair that it got. I mean, it looked. I mean, like was it the Super Saiyan Blue? That blue hair that he had. Yeah. I thought it looks a little cooler. I think it that kind of gives off. I mean, I don't know too much. It kind of gives off like nuclear power or whatever, like something like, but whatever's like blue flame or like blue anything kind of gives off like very.
I will say though,
too powerful.
I want to mention to you, Ultra Instinct is really cool too. I really like
Ultra Instinct is cool. Yeah, I like Ultra Instinct. But yeah, I got like that blue flame with the sparkles around it. It's a cool image.
I will say Super Saiyan 3 is like one of my favorites too. Just I love the long hair look. I really love that look.
Yeah, long hair, no eyebrows.
yeah, I love it.
Man's skull just like goes to like Neanderthal, like just
yeah. It's a shame that Goku doesn't turn into a great ape anymore, though. None of them really do.
Yeah, I'll have to cut their tails off.
Wait, he turns to a monkey? What?
Not anymore.
Blue Jay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
They all got.
Let's just say there is a reason why Frieza calls them monkeys, and it is not to do with race.
Oh, you kind of get me a little curious right now. I'm looking.
Oh my god.
They all got
I mean, the reason for that is also because like it was inspired by Journey to the West. So. Yeah, that was one of Toriyama's inspirations was Journey to the West.
Why does that look kind of badass though? I'm not gonna lie.
Like Son Wukong is the inspiration for Son Goku.
Who would win a fight, King Kong or Goku as a great ape?
RJ,
Goku.
quote the
Goku, yeah.
great Stanley,
Goku.
these arguments are invalid because whoever the writer wants to win is going to win.
Yeah, but that's not fun though. It's not a fun answer.
I
It's
mean,
just
if you're
The real answer.
if you're asking that question, I mean, I'm gonna go with the guy with powers. Not, and I mean, you can have a big giant ape around that's and roaring a lot. That's cool, but does he have powers?
Well,
Or
he
you
has,
talking-
he has an Infinity Gauntlet now.
Are you talking MonsterVerse
Stop it.
Kong, RJ?
Yeah, let's do MonsterVerse Kong. That's like the most
Yeah.
powerful Kong.
I think Goku would probably win, but it
Goku
would be a
still
good
win
fight.
The most powerful
Who's
Kong.
still winning?
It
Yeah,
would be a good
The
fight.
Kongiest Kong to ever Kong.
I love the MonsterVerse too, but like, I'm sorry, Goku is winning that fight.
Yeah, he would destroy him.
But do you have a favorite form, Meta?
What's the one that's silver?
Ultra Instinct.
Mastered
Yeah.
Ultra Instinct.
Which one?
That's Mastered Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, there you go. That's my favorite. I like this. I like the aesthetic of the silver.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah. I like that one too. Yeah.
For me, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, baby! I love that
Gogeta.
form.
I
Yeah.
feel like you cheated.
I mean, Super Saiyan 4 in general, I love that form anyway in general, but like, I love Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta though. Like, with the red hair, I really like that. And he has part of the monkey torso and he has the tail back and like his red, like, eyes or whatever. I think that whole aesthetic just looks really, really cool. I love it. Freaking Big Bang Kamehameha, like, oh,
What
man.
about anyone care for Super Saiyan? This is how you tell like the power levels just went out of control. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, I think is what it's called. I think it's what that's called.
Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan?
I'm pretty sure that was it. It was some like long ass like.
Is that the pink hair?
I don't know. I'm looking it up now. Hold on.
Or that the
I think-
purple hair?
No, that's the blue
I
hair.
can't remember.
That's the blue hair. Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is the or no, Super
It's the
Saiyan
blue.
Super Saiyan
Super
Blue.
Saiyan. Yeah, it's Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Like, what the fuck?
What kind of?
What is with this long ass name?
They're running out of names. They just be like,
SSG,
okay,
SSG, SSGG, SS, SSGG. Like, bro, what the? Are you wigging out? Are you tweaking? What is going on here?
like, you good, bro?
You good?
Saiyan
You
God
good,
Super-
man? You just keep repeating those two words in order.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah. Any of your favorite moments from Dragon Ball? If you guys can recall any of your favorite.
I
moments?
mean, I think my favorite, just top one, is probably Gohan destroying Cell with the shadow of, with the vision of Goku behind him. I think that's probably my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
Father,
yeah.
son, Kamehameha, man.
The father
Yeah.
son Kamehameha.
It's
Yeah.
a great moment.
Amazing moment.
For me, it has to be the family Kamehameha, which is the father, the son, and the little son.
That's a good moment too. Yeah.
Love it.
I gotta agree with Gohan defeating Cell. It's probably the greatest moment in Dragon Ball history.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Like that father son. That's one of the best moments in Dragon Ball. I'm not gonna lie. I can't think of anything other than this one moment that has been shouted out for generations to come.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
Or in
Yeah.
high terms, it's over 5,000.
True facts. This actually was supposed to be 8,000.
Oh, really?
but
I guess
yeah.
that's a
9 is
translation
of a higher
error.
power than 8.
Yeah, I think like originally, like when he wrote it down, like in the manga and stuff like that, that's how it was. That was originally supposed to be. But then I think the dub got it wrong, and then they just went along with it. So
Yeah, that's the thing about the Dragon Ball Z Kai dub compared to the original dub. Like with Dragon Ball Z Kai, they fixed a lot. Like the original Dragon Ball dub that came to America back in like however long it was.
The
was
90s?
not accurate at all at source material. So when they made DBZ Kai and they recut the episodes and they redid it basically, they redid the dub completely to try and be more on point with the manga and like the original translations.
Can I
Which is
say
another reason why you should watch Kai.
Can I just say I do not. I don't like Kai. I really tried to get into Kai, and I get it's more accurate to the manga, but I don't mind the filler in DBZ and Dragon Ball itself. I don't mind the changes in the filler they made, but I cannot watch Kai. I can't.
Oh, he likes 3 episodes of somebody powering up. He wants to watch all of that.
I honestly like. I just something about Kai I just don't like.
No, I mean that's perfectly fine. I mean, for me at least, I think Kai is my preferred way to watch DBZ at this
a lot
point.
of fans, yeah.
But I mean, the original is valid too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's still a classic. I just think DBZ Kai is like, if you're gonna recommend somebody to get into Dragon Ball for the first time, you tell them to watch the original and then go to DBZ Kai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely I've heard before of people that aren't big fans of Kai, and they brought up some valid points. But yeah, it's like if you want a more streamlined, get to the point, more accurate to the manga, like I would watch Kai. But some of the slow burn that the original version have, I think it's what gives it its charm. And letting scenes breathe and stuff like that, because we're in such an ADHD culture that's it's cool that these type of shows aren't afraid to take their time with building up the anticipation for certain things, because it makes the gratification better when they actually get to that point. But just depends how your patients are, I guess. So the final thing I do want to have a discussion about is, now that Toriyama is no longer with us, we talked about a little bit earlier about his successor coming in to take over some of the things from Dragon Ball. But where do you see the future of Dragon Ball going after this point?
Well, I'll kind of start us off a little bit just to give some context for the conversation. So, when it comes to video games, at least, he was working on the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, and then he also was helping with because just like with Dragon. Sorry, my alarm went off. Sorry. So he's working on that, and then with Dragon Quest, he's the character designer and the monster designer. So Dragon Quest 12 was announced, I want to say 2 years ago. Medic can fact check me on that. So it should be coming out within the next year or two, and that'll be his final Dragon Quest game where we get to see his character designs.
It's Dragon Quest. Which one?
The one that was announced is Dragon Quest 12.
Dragon Quest 12 announced.
And that was announced, I think, 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, wow. That was
2021.
Okay. So that should be coming out within the next year or two. So that'll be his final Dragon Quest game where he did character and monster designs. When it comes to Dragon Ball, obviously there's Dragon Ball Daima, which is releasing in the fall. That's meant to be a big celebration for the anniversary and all that. And then with the manga, the Dragon Ball Super manga, the manga was doing... So you have Toyotaro, who is the guy who writes and draws the manga currently, and then Toriyama was supervising it. So right now, the Super manga was adapting the superhero movie into manga form. They just finished that. So
nice.
Now the manga's going on break, and I guess they got to probably plan what they're going to do next. So, yeah, that's kind of where the state of things are right now.
Is Super still continuing?
Yes.
The manga is. It's just I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they probably had stuff planned already for where it was going to go. Because like I said, right now in the manga for Super, they just finished adapting the superhero movie. So anything past this point is going to be all new material.
Yeah, as we know,
they are adapting Beast Gohan vs Ultra Instinct Goku.
Yeah. Well, as far as we know, they haven't even greenlit a season 2 of Super yet. They haven't even talked about it.
Yeah, it seems like right now with the Super stuff, they're just doing movies again.
Yeah.
So they might do another movie that they were already planning on. And when it comes to the anime is going into Daima. So Daima is going to be where the television anime goes for the time being.
Okay. So I think it's time to have the uncomfortable conversation. You probably know where I'm about to go with this. Do you see them trying to do another attempt at a live action remake?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I do.
I think it's one of those inevitable things that will happen one day.
I mean, again, right now, when we're looking at the landscape of live action anime adaptations, again, Japanese, I'm not counting Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's technically still an American cartoon adaptation, but just talking about stuff from Japan that American studios are working on. We had One Piece on Netflix recently. They're doing a Naruto movie at Lionsgate. It's going to be directed by Daniel Destin Cretton from Shang-Chi. Produced by Avi Arad.
Okay.
Live action?
Oh no!
Hold on.
I had you for a second. I said
Oh my
director of
God.
Shang-Chi, and then I said also produced by Avi Arad.
Dude, okay. You know what? Like I heard about that, but then I was like, oh my
RJ,
God.
you know
why
damn
are
well
you
what part
so
they were reacting to.
Stop.
Yeah. So we have the live action Naruto movie at Lionsgate, and then we have the My Hero Academia live action movie, which I think it was gonna be a Sony movie, but I think it's now going to be a Netflix movie.
I think
we
Sony's
stop?
working on the One Punch Man movie.
Yeah, and Sony,
Yeah, we're also
Sony
getting One
Pictures
Punch.
is also working on a live
Like,
action One Punch Man.
Stop it! Just stop! Stop it!
So
This
currently,
stuff is
though,
trash! Stop
currently,
it!
though,
You're doing a
from what I
Disney thing.
understand, this hasn't been debunked yet, but I think this is still the case. The owners of the Dragon Ball live action rights is 20th Century Studios, aka Disney.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
they still hold the rights to
So,
it?
if they were going to make a live action Dragon Ball movie, it would be through Disney.
Disney's
said it,
Dragon
Neil, they're
Ball.
pulling a Disney.
They are.
And here's the thing: Disney has been wanting to get more and more into the anime world because they know that's money they're missing out on. That's why they have
look
Bleach
at
on
Hulu. Hulu is investing.
That's why they have Bleach. They got Bleach, and Warner Brothers. They got my baby hostage. Okay, they got my baby hostage over there. Someone rescue JoJo's.
Well, Warner Brothers has JoJo and Attack on Titan. So
yes, DL, I'm scared to death.
What about
JoJo
What
Bizarre
about
Adventure is
Alita?
going to be weird as hell.
Don't do
Alita?
that. It's already
Alita's
weird.
20th Century Studios.
So yeah, so to answer your question, DL, it really depends on if Disney wants to do something with that.
And they might. They very well might. Because again, they are not ashamed to make a live action movie. Although they do have a new person that's running the live action side. And he has gone on record to say when it comes to the live action movies, he's going to ask the question, does this movie need to exist? Does it need to happen?
Because finally we got an actual guy from Disney that actually is like, thank you. Maybe we're at the tail end of these remakes happening. So
well, hold on, maybe. If Iger pulls his weight and says no, this is going through, he ain't gonna fight Iger.
I want to mention too, there's also the possibility that a streaming service like an Apple or an Amazon or a Netflix could decide to make a live action Dragon Ball.
At the end of the day, the big question they're going to be asking is is this going to make us money?
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to streaming services, I feel like they'll have an easier time justifying a live action movie because for them it's just about retention. They don't have to worry about.
They just want money.
I honestly thought this too because I think I remember I wasn't on Max's stream. I think it was during the like after Akira passed away, and then I think Max asked the question they should do a live action movie, and I said that dude too soon. There's like I thought I was the only person that thought of that. I was like too soon.
Oh, it's definitely too soon right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they do a live action movie, we're talking about something that's like at least bare minimum 5 to 7 years away.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just really, I mean, if you're gonna do live action animes are very hit or miss. Mostly misses. We
forgot about Death Note. We forgot about Death Note. And,
we want to forget it.
I've never seen
and Death Note both.
I've never seen Death Note, but I don't think I never will.
Yeah, we want to forget it.
Because right now, the only live-action anime adaptation that's gotten universal acclaim from fans and normies is One Piece. That seems to be like the only one that's actually genuinely worked.
Akira,
I was gonna
I mean,
say-
Alita Battle Angel had decent.
Okay, yeah,
Alita as well.
Alita.
Yeah, that's
I
what
love
I'm saying. Because
Phoenix-
like, there's people that like Alita. Like
Phoenix was okay.
Alita is like the closest. I think Alita is like, because I know I'm not a big anime person, but Alita is like the closest thing where like, okay, I kind of want to watch an anime around this series.
Still waiting
'cause
for
I
that
actually
sequel,
like the movie.
Disney. Where's my Alita 2?
Yeah, where's the Alita 2, man?
I
Yeah, I
was
want that movie
impressed.
so bad.
Make it.
There was a live action Fist of the North Star film in the 90s. I'd repressed that. Oh my god, it was so bad. The only good anime live action adaptation I've seen, and it is for me, it's they did the beginning part of part 4 for JoJo, and they actually it was a Japanese made live action version. It wasn't over here. They got the original voice actor for Jotaro to reprise his role as Jotaro. And the stands actually looked like the stands. So I'm like, okay, this is checking off all the marks for me. This is pretty good. It's a pretty good adaptation. So I think that one goes under the radar. But yeah, the two biggest are One Piece and freaking Alita.
So here's my thoughts on about the live action remake thing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. And because of the passing of Toriyama, it will give them a little more. It will give them more incentive to want to try again and possibly wipe the
slate clean.
Yes, and make us forget about that horrible Dragon Ball Evolution movie.
We'll never forget. Never forget.
But the best way I think they should do this, I don't even think they're going to do it exactly how I'm going to do it. But the best way they should do this, first of all, give it time. Give Akira Toriyama's passing some time.
Yes.
And looking at the success of One Piece and Alita, specifically One Piece, because that was a show I thought was not going to work at all because of how zany and crazy and just a bunch of stuff that's in One Piece. There's no way they were going to able to truncate that enough for mainstream U.S. audiences to enjoy. But then it blew us out the water, at least most of us anyway. It was positively received. So what I think they should do, they should not make it a movie. They should not make it a movie. There's too much that goes on into the anime for them to truncate it into a 2-hour movie, 2.5-hour movie. I think it should be a series. Either
I agree with that.
Well, yeah.
If 20th Century Studios owns the live action rights of Dragon Ball, they could maybe put it on Hulu, FX, or something like that. Or if they do some sort of deal with Netflix, they could do that too. But I think I'll be more comfortable if they do put it on FX because
I was gonna say. I mean, don't even do a live action period because I was like, you know what? Would it be kind of cool if they do like an American animated adaptation of Dragon Ball, but in a like that very stylized stuff animation like they did with Spider-Verse and Mutant Mayhem. It
looks like a manga come to life.
Yes, bro. Like make it like look like an anime come to life. Like,
I mean,
yes,
I understand.
However, here's the problem. We talked about this numerous times. I've said this ad nauseum. The casual movie-going audience treats animated properties as second-class citizens. And even more so that it's an anime. It's going to turn people off even more. Live action, whether we like it or not, people are more incentivized to watch the live action than see an anime. Because there are a bunch of people that said that they will not watch the One Piece anime. They will never watch it. But then they watch the live action One Piece and they like that.
Well,
so,
despite
to piggyback off of DL, just real quick, Blue Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off. But like, he's exactly right. You have, and mind you, anime. We may think anime is very close to peaking over here. Like, it's not. It's still on the rise, I think, over here. Even though you would look at look at the culture. More people are reading manga and watching anime than watching like Marvel cartoons and DC cartoons and reading the comics. But that's just like
anime is not
I would say
mainstream.
that's in our own that's in our own fandoms. Like that's in like the nerd side of pop culture. When it comes to normies though, look, it took over a decade of movies just for them to understand who certain characters are in the MCU. I don't even, unless that shit is boiled down to like it would not be the same. Like anime plot lines and stuff would go over so many people's heads. Like it's gonna have to be cookie cutter down so much, and yeah, I don't know. Like
it's like where people think that anime is. I get into arguments with people all the time. Anime is not mainstream in the West.
It's not.
It's not. Like, yes, you have a vocal minority that talks about how much they love this, that, and the third from anime, and they collect all this stuff and whatever.
I do think it's about to peak, though.
It could.
I think it's when I say close, I'm talking about like maybe by the turn of the decade, like by 2030, anime may be at its peak.
Yes, but if you walk down the street and ask random people, do you know what Demon Slayer is? Half of them are going to say no, and half of them are going to say I don't watch it.
Yeah, because movies, the quote-unquote movies, are just the hardcore fans going to see the last 2 episodes of the last season and the first episode of the new season in theaters. That's who's going to see that, and it does make gangbuster money, but that's still, again, the vocal minority you're talking about, DL, versus like look at like what the money Demon Slayer made, which is impressive, but then look at like an MCU movie, which is general audience mainstream adaptation of comics. Like you're looking at night and day when it comes to revenue, or bringing in revenue.
Yeah. So as much as I hate to admit it, like making a live action adaptation is probably the closest way you're going to get Dragon Ball to be actually mainstream in the West.
Also,
I mean, I can kind of understand. I think I kind of understand what you were saying. I honestly do feel that I think it can work if you try to do it. Like, just say, fuck it, just go out, go all out. And I mean, despite the fact that, I mean, sure, people say that, oh, animated films are for kids and stuff, and they don't really go see them, even though the top 2 movies, some of the top 5 films that we got are like box office hits, from like our animated films. But
I mean,
like
The Boy and the Heron just won best animated film.
It beat Spider-Verse, which DL and I like. If you haven't already, go see our review of that movie. We both loved it.
Which, yeah, they don't think that. I mean, I should watch Boy and the Heron. That comes on Max soon, so I'm gonna watch that.
I kind of want to see the dub of that just because Pattinson is like the bird.
Mm-hmm. But like I mean, it's just like we know like how weird and zany and over the top like anime is. I'm surprised that Warner Brothers owns JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because
they have the distribution in the West. They have the distribution for it in the West, and that's why Part 6 was a Netflix exclusive. It still is. Pisses me off.
So it's like, you know, like with One Piece, they did a really good job. Like, I mean, I think it still kept the spirit of what One Piece is, but they toned down a lot of the weird, zany, crazy stuff that was in the anime. It made it palatable enough for people to.
I have a question about the first live action season of One Piece. Who here has seen it?
I have.
Okay, who's seen the anime?
I have.
How much fan service did they tone down?
There wasn't really a lot of. Well, One Piece didn't really have like a lot of fan service in the early arcs, I would say.
Because in general, that's what I'm getting at. Is that's another thing that you would have to just completely gut, even though like it.
I'd be fine with that though.
here's
Because
my
like
thing, right?
in a live action
No.
context,
And I'm not
it doesn't work
I'm
the
not
same.
defending it. I'm not fully defending it, but like there are characters that like, part of their character is them being is sex appeal. Because just like with the gods,
Some of them
like,
are, but some of them aren't.
Boobies.
Oh,
basically. Like
yeah.
what I'm getting at is like especially like if it comes to like if it's a part of their character that they overcome just being seen as that, like just like with what's been happening with Avatar, like they got rid of oh my god, I forgot my boy's name.
Sokka?
It's Sokka.
No,
like
no,
his
no,
whole
no, you're
storyline.
pronouncing it wrong. It's Suka.
No. No.
Did they mispronounce his name?
No, they
No, they
didn't.
didn't.
They didn't. They
Okay,
My point is
I got
that
scared.
They considered that problematic, and they didn't look at the context of what the actual story arc was, and they gutted it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if there is a character like Bulma is kind of like she is a strong character. She is a strong written female character, but at the same time, like the clip you showed, DL.
Yeah, you can't have dirty old Fanny. You can't have that
you
scene.
can't have dirty old Fanny. You can't have a lot of that. And with certain anime,
Freaking scene where there's a scene where Bulma is asleep and Goku goes up to her, pulls up
I
her
know what you're
skirt,
talking about.
and pats her
Yeah, I love
vagina,
it.
being like, "Where's
yeah, Goku finding out what gender is. Goku found out what
where's
gender
the
was. That's the funniest clip
no,
to me.
no, it's like, where's your balls? The balls are gone, Bulma. Your balls.
I get like that one's funny, but I think the funnier one is when he meets Chi-Chi as a kid. The very first thing this man does when meeting Chi-Chi, tap tap. Oh, cool, you're like Bulma, and then slap.
You can't do that.
It is so funny though.
It is hilarious. It is hilarious. No,
Well, I have a question in regards
Go
to
on.
the if because DL mentioned you mentioned that you think they should do a TV show. I don't think they should do a TV show just because I think that means less budget and less potential to actually show what Dragon Ball can be with a decent looking budget. But if they do go that route, which I think is the most probable way of doing it, do you guys think they should start with Dragon Ball and in a way condense it and sort of change it, make it more palatable for a modern audience? Obviously take out some of the sexual humor in there that we just talked about. But what do you guys think they should do with that?
You're going to have to.
Yeah, I argue that needs to happen. You cannot start with Z. You're going to confuse
Yeah.
images.
Yeah.
You need to start the foundation. And also, you got to think about it this way. For people that have never seen Dragon Ball, like how much cooler would it be for new viewers that don't know where the story is going? Because Dragon Ball just starts out as a fantasy martial arts comedy, right? And then it evolves to this big fantasy science fiction epic, right? So that's a good way for getting the casuals off guard when it eventually evolves into this big science fiction story, right? So it's like, and also it establishes the characters, pretty well. With Piccolo, Goku, and all that stuff. You already are invested in their journey, and so when the story eventually evolves, you're gonna get a whole bunch of people off guard of where the story eventually goes.
DL, I just remembered something, a character that I think would be more problematic for today than Goku finding out what gender is.
What?
The archetype of the pervy mentor, Master Roshi.
Oh, they got to change him a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot.
It would be, but here's the thing, with who he is as a character, because part of that was done for humor, another part of that was done, it was done to be a foil, basically. But again, just like with Sokka and his thing, that's just not going to fly. A lot of the groups and people that are over here would have that would trigger so many people.
Yeah.
So Roshi made it. I don't want to say it'd be character assassination, but
I see what you're saying, But
like that's a character that's like, yeah, like he's synonymous with being the pervy old mentor. But there are moments where he does shine as an actual mentor to Goku.
Right.
So yeah, it's just one of those things.
I think you could still make him like a. You could still keep kind of like him being a creepy, flirty old man. They could still do that for comic relief, but like the thing is, he can't be flirting with
Underage girls.
Yeah, exactly. He can't be doing that. Like if he was flirting with grown adults and doing that, and not like groping them out of nowhere. Like
I feel like even people would find it disgusting. Like for example, like, so let's say they don't. Let's say they do Dragon Ball then Z, right? Throughout the entirety of Dragon Ball, does not flirt with Bulma, does not harass her, does not do any of that. Well, now it's Z, and she's an adult. All of a sudden, he just starts turning on. He starts trying to riz her, and it's like, that ain't working, bruh. And people would be really like upset because they would be like, "Oh, well, I always thought there was a father-daughter connection between." Like, I hear it. I hear the words being typed. I see the tweets. I see them.
Okay.
It's just.
Yes, that is true, and that would be very jarring and a bit disrespectful if in Dragon Ball they treat it like as a father-daughter mentor thing, and then when she's an adult, he becomes a pervert to her. So, but why doesn't he just flirt with other women? That's not Bulma. Like, just do that.
Didn't he flirt with like? I thought that was like his whole thing. Like he flirts with a lot of women in Dragon Ball and Z.
He does. Like, it doesn't have to be Bulma.
Yeah.
It could even be like, I forget the character's name. What's that chick that that when she sneezes,
the one that RJ mentioned.
Yeah, the one that sneezes and then she
turns Launch.
Personality. Yeah, Launch. Yes. Like I could see some funny stuff with Roshi flirting with Launch, and then when she sneezes and like turns to the angry persona, and then like I could see some funny stuff with that if they want to do that. But there's easy ways to like avoid the problematic stuff, but still be, still have it feel like they're keeping the spirit of Master Roshi.
I think you can get away with the nosebleed stuff.
Yeah, they don't need the nosebleed
They don't even
stuff.
do they don't do nosebleeds. I feel like, I don't know, nosebleeds like
that's my other thing. That's like the same thing I have with One
Piece.
Piece. Like I don't know the story of One Piece, but of course people already weirdly upset with what's her name, what's the redhead?
Nami.
Yeah, they're already upset with Nami for some weird ass reason. But then you got like characters like Robin or whatever the fuck her name is, and then you got like the other well endowed characters. Like that shit ain't gonna fly, homie.
Yeah, I'm
that
sorry.
bird's getting shot down.
No, I'll be surprised if I don't know how far they would go in the live action, but I'll be surprised if they put her in the jeans and the bra, and that's it.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, and again, it was the same thing with like Faye Valentine. Because I'm gonna be honest, Faye never struck me as that much of a like seductress. Like she was just like, this is gonna be a weird thing to say for Faye, but she kind of reminded me of like a female, like Han Solo kind of character in a way. Like she always talks her way out of situations. She finds a way to weasel out. Like that's who Faye is. She wasn't really like she was a femme fatale, but she wasn't like a traditional femme fatale. So I didn't see a lot of fan service with her, apart from her design. But characters like Nami and Robin and eventually Bulma and Chi-Chi and all these other characters, like, man, you're gonna have like, this is one of the things where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, I think. Because it's gonna be like with I think it'll be worse than with Faye, because again, these characters are drawn and designed to be very attractive, very seductive, and all that type of stuff. But aside from the fan service, just like they could be doing like an action scene and actually looking like a badass, which is the other thing I love about women in anime. They are all badasses, but look amazing doing it. Quality. But yeah, like you're gonna. I can already see the toned downness of that, even if it goes against who the character is, and I take issue when people are just uncomfortable with how a character is created and like what it represents for their story. I get offended by that, because I mean, you're just afraid of like daring storytelling. And you want cookie cutter shit that doesn't make your feelings hurt, and that makes me I get upset about that.
Yeah, and like we've seen in other media where they are trying to tone down the sexiness of women, and like they're covering their bodies a little bit more, which not necessarily a bad thing, but just like
Costume designs and stuff is one thing. I talk about if it's a part of their character though. Like if it's like they can't, like, for example, like Shion from Slime is just yes for me. But when you look at her as a character, she's very complex. She has a unique position in the cast of characters. Sure, they gave her I would dare say sexist trope of, she's a beautiful woman but she can't cook. But they gave her a big ass Buster sword, and no one messes with her because they know that she'll kick their ass. So she's got the looks and the beauty, but she can also punch a hole through your skull.
Well, I think they can still keep that intact. Like you can make a female character beautiful and have some sex appeal without having to put the boobs in the camera.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like when it comes to like the One Piece, for example. Like I love One Piece, but like Nami and Robin's characters don't really need fan service at all. It's just something that they did just because they could. Nothing about their characters requires that. Like, there's maybe like one character in all of One Piece that's meant to, like, that should be physically attractive. That's a big part of the character. That's Boa. That's it, really.
Is that the third girl? Which one is that, RJ? I feel like I know that. Is that the
Boa, Empress of Amazon Lily?
Did she just didn't in the anime she recently joined the Straw Hats?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, she's a warlord of the sea, or a former warlord.
Oh, I don't know who I'm thinking of then. Again, I don't know these characters like that.
Yeah.
Now, another thing I wanted to ask. Another thing I wanted to ask you guys: if they did do a series or a movie, I think they should do a series. But if they did do this, do you see this as an opportunity for them to possibly do some adaptation from the original anime and manga and do their own type of story? Because where I'm going with this is, I know y'all probably gonna hate this idea, but I was just thinking this. Maybe they can fix some of the issues that the fans had with the latter half of Z, and possibly, just possibly, they can retcon and do heavy adaptation with a live action GT and make that better. Do you see that possibly happening?
I think they're gonna. Here's what I think would probably happen. I think they would do an amalgamation of the original Dragon Ball and a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. Because Dragon Ball Z is too popular, where they're not going to want to do that out of the gate. I'm sorry.
I feel like half of a season would be they would supercut some events in Dragon Ball just to give you a little bit of a taste of what Z is about. Like, again, covering those bases of the plot and what happened in the previous series, and then jump right into Z. I agree with RJ. Jump right into Z as soon as possible.
Yeah, honestly,
you guys would rush Dragon. You would rush
No,
Dragon.
I'm not saying that's what I would do.
We wouldn't personally. We're just saying how they would do this as a series.
I think the ideal way for me personally for Dragon Ball is there's three essential things you need to really get the story of Dragon Ball itself across: is the Red Ribbon Army arc, the Pilaf arc, and the tournament. You need, at least if you have those three things and you flesh them out well enough and you write them well enough, and however amount of time they choose, I think that'll get the bare gist of Dragon Ball down for anybody who hasn't watched it.
Yeah. I was gonna mention, this is totally off topic. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but there's actually something that's hit Twitter that I think is super interesting.
Let me
Do
look.
you want to hear it or no? Because it's not even related to any of this.
Sure. What is it?
It's a Deadpool 3 rumor.
Oh, I don't want to hear it.
No.
Okay. Yeah. They
RJ
have voted.
me. RJ D and me on Discord.
No, it's fine.
No, RJ, DM me I don't care. DM it to me personally. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, do what y'all gotta do. But all right, well, I think we'll start to wrap things up. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about or bring up before we close it out?
Nope.
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone for hopping in and discussing Akira Toriyama and some of their favorite moments in the Dragon Ball franchise and some possible speculation of where Dragon Ball will go into the future. I want to thank all the panelists for joining with me, and I want to thank the chat for joining with us as well. If you enjoyed this stream, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. On the road to, I think, I'm around 517 right now. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000, man. And don't forget
let's get there. I also love how Meta laughed, and I was like, "What? Is he laughing at DL?" And I just realized he was reacting to what I just sent him.
RJ, you're funny. You're so funny.
Hey, I'm just the messenger.
Scoopers, man. What are you gonna do?
You don't really have to be the messenger, man. You don't really have to be one.
Hey, it's not. Listen, it was all over my feed anyway. It's already out there.
Or not even look at it. All right.
You don't want to.
Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to the Taladia Plays. Subscribe to Blue Jay's channel, Aqua Cinema. Subscribe to RJ's channel, Resident Justice. Subscribe to Friendly Neighborhood Meta.
No.
No?
Go subscribe to Controller Chronicles.
Okay, subscribe to Controller Chronicles. He's on there.
Yeah, we just got past 75 subs. So
RJ.
We're on the road to 100 now.
Yep,
on the road
RJ,
to 100,
Meta,
baby.
Road to 100.
And Braille.
Get to 100. Braille, Meta, and RJ. That's their gaming channel. They discuss video games and all that good stuff. Bradley is still slowly, making his way back to streaming. He's taking his time, and that's cool. Him and Austin.
It's my way like a caterpillar. I'm coming.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the epic return of Alien and Bread.
Alien and Bread.
Yes. But that is all we have for you, Dragon Ball fans, and we will see you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. I'm thinking of a cool catchphrase to end things off on Dragon Ball.
I was gonna say you could end it like how Dragon Ball Z used to end.
What?
Like do a teaser for what you're gonna talk about next.
Yeah.
And then, What we talk about this? What we do this? Find out next time.
Oh, actually, that's perfect. Hold on a second. I got it. Next time on I Am DL. DL and Nick have to finish Monarch before they see Godzilla vs. Kong. Will they make the review in time? Also, he hasn't done a review on the Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender yet. Will he make that in time before people don't care? Will he make a review before the animated Avatar movie supposed to come out in 2025? Also, no one's talking Star Wars with him. His panelist has abandoned them for their own personal lives. Will he find new panelists to discuss Star Wars and catch up before any of the Star Wars projects come to fruition? Find out on the next I Am DL.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That's a great idea. But anyway, see y'all later.